welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Cheers, brother.
Cheers.
This is some damn good Johnny Walker Black.
Yes, sir.
So put hair on your chest. I got Anson Gordon with me here today. Badass artist. Before we get started, please like, share, subscribe. Follow me. Follow Anson. Quit being so stingy with your follows.
That's right.
Anyways, how you been, man?
Great, man. Great. I appreciate you having me on today. This is pretty badass.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it. We've come a long way. This is episode 61 or 62 now.
Wow.
And it's a one-man show at this point. Every now and then I'll bring in a producer, just if it's very complicated, or there's a lot of stuff we're going to be pulling up and stuff like that.
Sure.
But I liked building this to where I could just do it myself. This is a hybrid facility, and I run everything. I do everything, and I don't know. I'm a little cocky about it
You should be.
I built this thing by hand, and it's working, at least for now, knock on wood.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it's temporary. It's badass looking, man. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you. So why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself? What's your background?
Yeah. Anson Gordon, live here in Austin, Texas. I grew up in Fort Worth, or just south of there in a little town called Mansfield, Texas. Pretty normal childhood. It was fun. Growing up in the 80s was pretty cool. Growing up in kind of a small town was even cooler, and played sports and got a brother and sister, and just really, had a good time growing up. Somewhere along the way, we'll get to this later, and we'll circle back to it. But, I was a pretty decent artist, and so I kind of put that in the back of my mind and just drew a lot and did a lot of art stuff. And then, went to college, got married, life kind of happened, all great things, had family, got a real job and raising those guys. And about 15 years ago, we moved to Austin. And, it's just in the blink of an eye, right? Like, you've got kids, our youngest is graduating Saturday.
How scary is that? Because I'm lucky I still have she'll be 14 tomorrow, so I'm like, I got 4 or 5 more years with her.
Yeah.
How scary is it to know that the last one is about to fly?
It's not great. I'm learning that I suppress my emotions. My wife tells me that anyway, because I'm just like not acknowledging it. She's kind of a basket case. The big takeaway from me is just how quickly it goes.
Yeah.
I look back at pictures and videos, now everything's documented, right? Unlike when we were kids. And it just seems like they were 4 and 6 years old, yesterday.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden they're, I've got a 21-year-old son and an 18-year-old son. And I think it'll hit me on Saturday at a ceremony. But yeah, it's emotional.
Well, congratulations, though.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
very
you.
special, and you guys are going to get your house back to yourself.
I don't even remember what we did before kids. Like, I don't even remember.
Do you kind of like look at your spouse, and I'm sure she's an amazing woman. I'm just joking, but I always imagine like when that day comes, you're going to start looking at each other like, I don't know if I want to hang out with you by myself anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
I think she's probably going to feel that way. I don't know about me, but yeah, she's probably already had those thoughts.
So back up a little bit. You said, you were growing up around Fort Worth as a kid, and you started to realize you had this gift in art, and your art's amazing. Like, it's
Thank you.
realistic and lifelike. And
Thank you.
There's very few artists that can project the emotions of the character that you're drawing, right? So when I'm looking at an artist's work, I go, can I feel what that person he's drawing? Can I feel what that person's feeling? And to me, that's how I determine whether or not this is a talented artist. And like, at what point when you were growing up did you realize like, wow, I'm actually really good at this? Because because when you're a kid, everybody tells you your shit's good. Your parents lie to you, your teachers lie to you, and this is amazing.
And there's a ton of good artists out there that are kids, right? And so where do you fall into that?
Yeah, and how do you? At what point did you see yourself start to pull away from the pack?
I don't know that I would say I ever pulled away from the pack. I had a really amazing art teacher in high school named Mr. Jones. Shout out Mr. Jones. I had a gallery event here in Austin a few months ago, and he showed up. Unbelievable. His daughter had reached out to him and told him I was doing it, and he came by. It was super cool. But no, I knew that I was pretty good, and there was a handful of really good students that he taught, and I kind of felt like I was in that pack. But I didn't think about it as a career one day or anything. I just enjoyed it. Like we were talking about you in podcasting. It's just something that I just would get kind of lost in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I mean, how old were you when you were going through his class?
That was in high school, but I knew I liked to draw the second I could hold a utensil and and put something on paper.
Mm-hmm.
My dad recently passed away, but when I was going through his stuff, he had a file of all my art from when I was like, little, just stacks of it. It was kind of cool going through and looking at that.
And then at what point were you like, I'm going to make a career out of this?
I never was. That thought never occurred to me. That's the weird part about, where I'm at right now is I knew I enjoyed it, but I also wasn't disciplined. It took me a while to do pieces. I had some pieces that were in a sports gallery up at the ballpark in Arlington and some places around Dallas Fort Worth. This was 25 years ago when I was like 24.
Yeah.
And, but it was still kind of just a thing I was just messing around with. And I just didn't think that, I don't know, it never seemed like something that I wanted to make my 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was what was kind of weird, kind of jumping forward here, but
text me a picture of one of yours. I'm going to throw it up on the screen.
Yeah,
so while you're talking,
yeah,
when I switch to the side angle, everybody can see your artwork.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was I'll send you a couple. I guess about 7 months ago, I was looking at just around. I was just looking around, and I was bored, and I was like, there was nothing that was blowing my skirt up, nothing that was fun. I was working every day, grinding, just going through this slog of life, that is 2026 or 2025 at the time. And I thought, man, I need something like fun. I need to do something. And art just came to my head immediately. I can't play baseball anymore. I can't play basketball anymore. My knees are too shot, but I can draw. And so I started sketching some pieces, and before too long, it was becoming okay, this is a real thing.
At what point did people start offering you money for your pieces, or did you just start putting them up for sale?
So I gotta shout out my friend Ryan, who owns Troubadour Custom Hats and Gallery. He had reached out to me. I had just been kind of dicking around with it, and he had seen some of them, and he was like, "Hey, man, I've got this gallery event that we always put on during South by. I would love it if you had a piece and on display there." Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, man, I'd be honored. That's awesome. This was the first time in this new iteration of me drawing that somebody had expressed interest in it, and so I was like, sure. And it was a couple of months out, and I thought, okay, I got to do something really bold. I want to do something that stands out. I want to do something that makes people think and not half-ass it, I guess. And so I did a Native American, and I had a little bit of time left, and I was happy with it. And I thought, well, I'll do another one. And I wanted to focus on Lakota Sioux and Dakota Sioux, just because I'm interested in American history and Native American history. And so I did a 4-part series and put them on display for that. And so that was then I was off and running. So Ryan kind of forced me to get organized, get my shit together.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it takes somebody to snap you out of it, because obviously you have a creative brain, creative mind, and you're, there's 2 different types of people, right? There's like logical, structured minds, and then there's creative minds. And creative minds, it takes all of your attention to think about this stuff and to focus on this on a daily basis. How long does something like this take to make?
Yeah, so I would say probably, and that's 18 by 24, so it's not a small piece. I would say anywhere from 16 to 18 hours at an easel, not consecutive. I break it up over a course of a couple of days, but I'm probably sitting there for 16 to 18 hours on these.
Wow.
And and here's the thing, though. I want to back up. You said something earlier about the expressionism, and they spoke to you in some way. Mm-hmm. That was the part that was new to me. That was the part that kind of hit me in the face, especially with this Native American series. I felt like I was channeling something.
Really?
Yeah. When I talked about art in the past, I worked with acrylics and pastels and oils and stuff like that. I never worked with charcoal. And so when I started back in September, October, I was using graphite, and I thought, man, I'm gonna attempt charcoal. Something inside of me was just telling me to do that. And so I started fucking around with it, and I wasn't very good, but I was kind of good, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And I was up every night, just carving away. And when I say carving away, that's also kind of key. I'm not really drawing. I'm looking at charcoal as more of like a sculptor.
Mm-hmm.
And so, my process, I lay material down on the canvas or the paper, and then I'm pulling light and I'm carving it. I'm shaping it. It's not really, it's not very often that I'm, sometimes when I get into really fine detail stuff, I have a charcoal pencil, but mainly I've got a compressed charcoal, and I'm fucking throwing it down there and smearing and erasing and all sorts of stuff. So,
I never thought about that. So you're erasing a lot of the time. It's not actually doing all of just the charcoal black. You're laying it on and then erasing it to create the image.
Yeah, I use an eraser 80% of the time, but it's not to correct things. It's like I'm pulling light from it. So that piece that you're showing now, it's like, I had at some point in that, it was just black, and then I'm pulling his cheekbones, or I'm pulling his nose, or his
Interesting
feathers, or.
And so, where do you get inspiration for a piece like this? Do you have any native culture in you?
That's a funny question. My dad always said that we had Cherokee in us. I've done 23andMe and Ancestry.com, and nothing ever pulls up from that. But I'm certain that his grandmother was a Cherokee Native American, so potentially. But that's not really why. I'm just very intrigued by their culture, and it's very gray, right? They're not these savages, but they're also not these innocent butterflies,
Right.
And as it pertains to the U.S. government and everything like that, it's very complicated. It's tragic. It's all the things, and I felt like these guys that I drew had something to say.
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily me. It was just, I felt like they had to say something. And so I'd be up late at night, and, you think about it, you've got your own DNA, you've got this paper that was a tree, you've got this raw earth material, and you're rubbing it in there, and you've got all this thing, and something happens, man. It's wild.
What is it? What happens? What do you notice?
Sometimes I'll do something, and say I'm working on a cheekbone or something, and I'm working on the value. The value is the difference between dark and light, and so I've got this gray area in there, and I'll do it, and I'll walk away, and then I come back, and it's almost like come alive. It's almost like transformed. I'm
Really?
like, man, it didn't look like that 7 minutes ago. Like, fuck.
Ooh, got chills from that.
It's pretty cool, man.
That's
I'm serious.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. I lost my train of thought right there.
Well, it was deep, man. I would be sitting there. I was listening to like Nick Cave and some really wild music, and it'd be 3 a.m, and it's dark, and I'm in my studio alone, and it all, man, I was channeling something.
What I was thinking about when you were talking about that is it's unrelated to artwork, but it's a form of art. It's singing. So I went to go see George Strait last time he did ACL here in Austin.
The GOAT.
Did you see it? Were you there for that?
I'm jealous. I was out of town, but man, he's my favorite. I've seen him a bunch, but back in the day.
Yeah. So, they call him King George for a reason. He is the king. And until you see him in person, you don't really quite understand why George Strait is so coveted. Because you hear him on the radio and he sounds good,
sure,
but it's a lot of the same songs, just played over and over and over. And then when you see him in person, you're like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Every single female in that place at some point during that concert, there's a point during every single song that he does. Every song, there's a point where he hits a certain melody or note or something like that. And then every woman stops what they're doing. If they're talking to their man or they're talking to their girlfriend, they stop and they turn and they just go, oh, like that. And his voice just carries across huge crowds so well.
He's just the coolest, man.
And but I remember when he walked out on stage, he had this. I hadn't seen him in a long time, like the because he's older now, and he walked out. And he was so much older. His face is sagging, and I was like, man, like he just looks like an old man now. It's kind of crazy. It's still him, but he's an old version of the one I know. Like I remember the one from Pure Country, stuff like that. Yeah. And then he started singing, and then while he was singing, it was like his face came alive. And the more the night went on, his face got younger and younger. And so when you were talking about that, how the face started to come to life, that was the first thing that came to my mind. There is something about the face that when it's given energy, it does change form and it comes alive.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's I was just talking about this. George Strait probably has more money than God. He doesn't need to be out there playing, but he just loves it, right? I mean, I was talking about one of my heroes, Bob Dylan, or the Rolling Stones are still out there doing their thing, and none of them need money, but they probably can't stop. I mean, it's and that's why they are able to run around stage at 80 years old and do all the stuff.
What are you gonna do?
I know. What else are you gonna do, right?
That's what you love. That's like your first passion in life, and then turn it into a career. Yeah. You do it for decades upon decades. George Strait, he's still at the same band.
Ace in the Hole.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah.
And he still gives them credit. He gives them their solos throughout the night and introduces them just like he's been doing since the 80s, and it's just.
Do you know how they got connected, George Strait?
No.
It's pretty cool. I'm kind of a George Strait fan.
Good. Let's go.
So he grew up down in Uvalde, Texas, not just south of here.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of grew up on a ranch, and when he was 18, he joined the Army. And during Vietnam, he was stationed in Hawaii.
Wow.
Wow. I know, right? And so he had gotten married, though, right to his high school sweetheart. They had eloped to Mexico. And he goes off to Hawaii, does his time, comes back, goes to Texas State, which was then Southwest Texas State in San Marcos.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in the Army, he was singing with a country band, and he came back to Texas, and he saw a flyer, and it was from the Ace in the Hole band. It says, country band seeking lead singer. And he just pulled it off, called the number, and their first gig was at Cheatham Street Warehouse down in San Marcos.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's wild. Because, I know he used to play at Green Hall a lot.
Yeah, same area.
Yeah.
I wonder how many notes he was in before they're like, you got the job.
I can't imagine. That's crazy. It's cool to see him still doing his thing.
I love it.
It's such a special person, and it's another thing to do it, but then also stay out of the headlines for negative reasons.
Yeah.
Right. And he's never involved in any political conversations. Mm-mm. He just does his thing. He's cool. Mm-hmm. He's cool as shit. That's how they should all be, in my opinion.
I totally agree.
So you got into this Native culture. Have you received any blowback from the Native community?
I haven't. I was wondering if that would happen.
Yeah.
I hope that my intentions are pure enough and that I'm understood enough to know that I'm doing these to honor these people, not to exploit them in any kind of way. If I felt like that was the case, then I would stop, because I'm very sensitive to that. I don't want to shit on the culture or anything like that. That's not my intention at all. Yeah. But that thought has crossed my head. I'm sure that if I had a bigger platform or something like that, I probably would. But
well, doesn't that, because I do have Native culture, and I'm part Lakota. I think I'm 10%. 332s. So yeah, I'm like just about 10% Lakota, which is like a Ojibwe tribe up in Wisconsin. So I have it in me, and to me, this is honoring natives, right? Because this is saying your culture was so fucking cool that we're gonna be like, Jen makes metal art. She makes these badass native headdresses,
incredible,
and everybody loves them. And she's received blowback. Yeah, and typically it's not from the Native community. It's from Karens out there that are virtue signaling, and they want to be the one to tell you what you should not be doing, blah, blah, blah.
That's usually the way it goes.
Yeah, and it's like, this is not disrespecting their culture. This is honoring their culture.
For sure.
They were like the last one of the last cultures on this planet that didn't live under a democratic governing body that tells its citizens what to do and has fake bullshit elections and taxes the shit out of their people. This is one of the last cultures on earth that lived freely, that truly lived freely. That should be a model that we imitate today around the world because it worked for them. And just like you said, they weren't perfect, but they weren't evil people.
No.
Like, you know, like people made them out to be, history books made them out to be savages. They weren't savages. They were just savages when they had to be to protect their people or their land, you know, and then we invaded their land. You know, so it's like I am 10% native, I am 50% Spaniard, and I'm not sure about the 40% that's left. But so half my people came and took over the fucking land.
Yeah, man.
And the other half fought them off, you know. So it's I love this shit. I love artwork like this, and I love honoring these people. They deserve it. They're a very spiritual culture, and the world's gotten away from spirituality, in my opinion.
One of the, if you go, I think I sent you a different one. If you go to the next one, that one is kind of exciting. So I'm a big fan of
Quanah Parker.
Yeah, Cuts Quanah Parker. You know, that book Empire of the Summer Moon is an incredible book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, his story is so insane. You know, he's half white. To your point, he's half white. And half Comanche.
Look at that detail.
Yeah, he was a badass. But that one for your Austin audience, if you want to see it in person, is hanging at the new revamped Driscoll Bar and Grill in the Driscoll Hotel.
No way, that's
yeah,
badass.
Yeah.
Driscoll's haunted too, right?
Yeah, it is. About to be more haunted.
Haunted with the soul of Quanah Parker now.
You know, I'm looking at that. It's you know, it reminds me. Yeah, I'm not really sure where, you know, like I said, I just started working with charcoal in December. It's really when I hardcore got into it, and I'm not classically trained in that.
Last December, like 2025.
No, like 5-6 months ago.
Holy cow!
And that was the thing, is it was just coming to me, Shawn. It was, I didn't train for this medium. I watched some YouTube videos. There's a couple guys that, you know, I kind of learned how to lay down material and stuff like that. But then I just leaned into my whatever
instincts
are. There's so many times where I'm doing something and I'm like, I hope this works. And it just fucking works. And it's a weird thing, you know.
You felt drawn into it, like as a medium?
I felt drawn into it as a medium, and then it was very natural to me. Very natural to me. Yeah, it's weird. You know, but there's this point in the process, you know, I said it takes 16 to 18 hours, something like that. I might spend 14 of those hours on his face.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my goal is like photorealism, but then I want it to fall off with abstract. So, you know, if you look at his face, it's very real. But then if you look at the feathers and different things, it's more abstract.
Right.
So I just kind of want it to bleed off. And I'm literally just riffing out there, man. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But it's coming out. It's coming out.
I like it. I've been a big fan of Salvador Dali since I was probably in college. I think I had posters of Salvador Dali's, like the tall pencil leg elephants.
Yeah, man. Amazing.
Yeah, I've had him on my wall since I was like probably about 19 years old. And I loved his style. So what he would do, and you probably already know this, but he liked to be in this dream state, not in full REM deep sleep, but what he would do is he would try to capture his inspiration from this dream state where it's like it's not consciousness and it's not dreaming, it's this in between layer. So he would sleep with a key in his grasp between his fingers, and then he would put a metal plate underneath it, and so right when he fell asleep, he would drop it and it would wake him up. And so that's that second, or those few seconds while he was passed out before he dropped it, that's the dream state where he was trying to capture what he was dreaming in that moment.
Oh, wow.
And so he would take that, and as soon as he woke up, he would pull out his thing and he would start drawing what he saw in his dream.
That's incredible. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so all of his artwork is dream state artwork. The melting clocks and the ants and the pencil leg, the very 70-foot tall elephants and stuff like that. It's all from his dreams.
I just assumed he was taking a lot of acid.
I know.
No, that's incredible. I had no idea, man. If you can capture that, right? Because that is that moment, right, where you're. What is that? I don't even know what that is.
Well, there's a lot of artists that do that. Like a lot of artists do a ton of drugs in order to get into this state. A lot of musicians, like symphony writers, stuff like that. They find their the most inspiration in these moments where they don't want to be around the rest of the world because I'm tripping balls right now. And so, how do you find yours?
It's funny. I've done all that stuff, right? I've had journey experiences and with psychedelics and stuff like that, and I would liken it to that. There's moments, I was talking about earlier, where it's the middle of the night and I'm sitting there in my studio, and I almost feel like I'm in some alternate state, and I'm not on anything. I'm just in it, and it almost feels like they're speaking to me or something. I don't know.
I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. There's, and that's a whole nother conversation, which I'd love to get into, which is, and I don't know if, let me back up. I don't know if my father passing back in the fall was a catalyst to this. There was never a conscious, like, I need to do this for dad, or he was holding me back or anything like that. But the timing is a little,
suspect.
Yeah.
Did this happen? This started after he passed away?
So he passed away in October, and I kind of had this thought to start drawing in September. So he was kind of already in the thralls of it. And so he was facing his mortality. But when I came to the conclusion that I needed to start drawing again, he wasn't in the forefront of my mind at all, which is weird. But yeah, I believe in there's a higher self. I'm open to, you could tell me 140 different thoughts on what you think is in the afterlife, and I'm here for it, because none of us know, right?
Right.
The one thing I do feel certain about is that what we've been told as a society is not the truth.
Yeah, I agree.
Not to be controversial, but
I agree. And
I don't even think that people are lying to us today as much. I mean, obviously they're lying to us about some bullshit, but big picture things, I think it's all just been lost. Mm-hmm. I think why we were really here is lost, and you find yourself stuck on, Mopac at 5 o'clock, doing a fucking job you don't want to do, and paying for shit you don't want, and it all just kind of came upon us.
Mm-hmm. Well, you can see it in the architecture and the buildings everywhere, like this minimalist attitude that the government seems to inflict on the rest of the world. It's not just America; it's all over. Like, look at the architecture from the 1800s, right? It's the early 1900s, even, and keep going back, and you like there was so much thought and energy and effort put into every single piece, like every banister, every windowsill, everything had so much thought into it. It mattered to people. And it's like now it's just like this cookie cutter. Everywhere you look, there's like hardly any color anywhere. It's just meant to, like, you're not supposed to look at the world. You're supposed to stay focused on your phone, right? Keep buying shit, keep consuming.
Marketing.
Drive your car. Like, it's like, I hate it.
I do too.
I hate it, and I wish we could go back. And I don't know how we go back, though.
I don't either.
Unless you had a president that this was his focus, but nobody would vote for him.
I don't think that president can exist. I think presidents are selected.
Yeah.
Not elected.
Why do you say that?
I just think it's predetermined. I think that there's a collective of people, people are going to be like, this guy's fucking crazy.
No,
But I just think that there's
my audience is very open to these things.
I think there's a contingency of people that are running this thing, and they probably know the truth, and they want to keep us under their thumb, and and I get it. I mean, it's like if we knew the truth, it'd probably be chaos for a while. But that was kind of what I was trying to find is my higher self during this thing of, look, I can't control shit. I can't control what we do in Iran. I can't control what happens in Israel. I can't control any of this stuff, who's elected, whatever, social media is such a cesspool. And I just I was like, man, where can I go? Where can I go mentally and escape this shit, and so it just that's kind of how the art came into play. And I don't really even have any goals with this, Shawn. I'm just, I'm sitting here right now and I'm having a fucking great time. And when we're done, I'm gonna go sit at an easel and fucking draw. Like,
right.
That's it, man.
Do you find a purpose in this in regards to the chaos that is going on in the world? Like in history, the greatest artist always lived during a time of really big chaos, war, famines, stuff like that. And it was, artists that, now we have talk show hosts and podcasters and stuff like that. But back then they didn't have any of that.
Right.
The only way that they could convey how they felt about the government or the kings and queens or whatever was through an artist. And that's why these artists used to always put these secret messages in there. Some of these weren't even meant to be found until after they were dead. Right. And it's very creative. Even some of these artists, when they were painting like a king's portrait, they would put little secret messages if they hated that king, that, like they knew if that's why it had to be so complex, because they were sending a message for the people at that time, knowing that they won't even be able to discover this or I'll get my head chopped off. Right. But this is for future civilizations when they see this and they have the technology to figure out what I meant by this, or the underlayer of a picture of a king meant something. Right. Yeah. And so, I mean, that kind of forethought, it showed you like these artists had a lot of weight on their shoulders to speak for the people that didn't have a voice. Yeah. Do you ever feel that in your artwork? Do you ever feel a need to speak for people who don't have a voice?
A little bit with the Native Americans, right? These guys have passed. I felt like they had something to say. There's something, you're actually, bringing some stuff to my mind that I hadn't really thought of. I think for a true artist, I think the most important thing is for your work to matter in some way, to have a meaning, other than just I'm good with X medium, right?
Yeah.
Or at least me anyway, all my heroes are, their work mattered, whether it be writers, musicians, artists. There was a human element to it of like, we're better than this. Let's fucking go, right?
Yeah.
And
willing to risk their lives.
Yeah. And I'm not sitting here saying that I'm brave like that and I would risk my life or anything, but I would like to think that my work will matter. And, I'm still early in this thing, right? I don't feel like, I feel like I'm just tapping where I can go with it. And it's not that, I want my skill set to get any better or anything, but it's just creatively, I would love to do things like you were talking about. Like I would love to put hidden messages in there. I don't know how the fuck to do that, but that would be cool.
A lot of forethought.
That'd be cool. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Different layers to your art that someday, like we're too dumb to pick it apart now, but someday they'll be able to figure it out, right? Artists using different mediums that when put under certain lights, like showed something like invisible ink and stuff like that. Like that's crazy.
And there's artists out there like that. There's a handful of artists that I really respect that that are so good. They in different mediums. There's some charcoal artists I really respect. But it's inspiring. It's inspiring. Just any kind of, I was in that one. That's my most recent. So I kind of got away from the Native Americans because I'm not necessarily wanting to be just a Native American artist,
Yeah.
but that was just the series that I started off with.
But when you're good at it, you know.
Well, I something in me relates to them. I don't know why. That one I actually did. You want to hear a funny story? I mentioned my friend Ryan earlier from Troubadour. He makes these incredible fucking hats.
Yeah.
Like cowboy hats and flat brim hats and
Well, hook it up, Ryan.
I
love
know, right?
hats.
Well, hey, I wanted one too, but I'm broke, and I was like, hey man, I'll draw a picture, and you want to make me a hat?
Trade.
And so this piece was for him. And you know what's funny? And I keep finding this every step of the way with this stuff, and not to be weird, but like I told him, like he was into that idea, and then I said, I'm thinking about doing a skull and a headdress, and he goes, you know, that's my logo that's inside my hats.
Oh, really?
And I was like, shut the fuck up. And he was like, no, seriously. He like showed me one. That's kind of his logo. Not that particular one, but like a skull with a headdress is his logo. And it just came to me. And that's the thing you asked me earlier, where my inspiration is. It just kind of fucking comes to me. I'm not dropping a key on a plate, but.
What do you think? I know a lot of artists, there's a big debate between, you know, realistic art and abstract art. What are your thoughts on?
I mean, I love it both. You know, when I see a photorealistic drawing, I'm amazed and in awe. When I see an abstract piece, I'm equally. That's why I'm trying to kind of blend both. You know, I want your eye right at the center of it to be as realistic as humanly possible, and then I just want it to fade out into abstract. That's kind of where I'm going with that.
Yeah.
You know? And abstract, for whatever reason, I'm finding comes very natural to me.
Really?
Yeah. I can do photorealism but I have to grind. That's why I was saying, you know, a face might take me 90% of the picture, and then the rest of it, I'm just flowing. I'm standing, I'm dancing around. I'm fucking.
It's funny you say you focus on the face first, because Jen, she focuses on the eyes first and builds the face out from the eyes. So when she's building her pieces, right, she always starts with two eyes. She gets them right where she wants them, and then from that she builds, you know, the sculpture around the eyes, like the sockets, and in the nose and in the mouth, you know, and then she kind of like goes into it. And it's really cool seeing her. She got featured on the new Orange County Choppers. They brought the show back. With Paul Sr.
Oh,
and
hell that was a badass show back in the day.
I know. So it's back now. And she was featured in episode 5. She built this big bald eagle that got mounted on the back fender of this badass bike that this lady bought in Florida. She's a lawyer.
Has it aired yet?
Say again?
Has it aired yet? Can I see that show?
Oh, yeah. I'll pull it up here.
Dude, I'm going to have to see that. By the way, her art is incredible.
I know. Well, like, your art is incredible too.
Well, she's insane, man. I need to talk to her.
Well, we'll connect you guys. You guys are both in the People's Artist competition too, by the way. That's
a funny thing.
Let me pull up. You want to grab some ice while I'm pulling this?
Yeah, let me do that. I was just thinking I need a drink. Do I need to take this off?
Well, yeah, to go put it. Yeah. All right, so this is the piece. I'm trying to find the piece she did for Orange County Choppers. Here it is. Here's the video. Or here's the pictures.
Oh,
that's with Paul Sr. This is the piece she made. I actually went with her to Florida, and I was there filming. I was like her helper.
No way.
Yeah, because we needed every minute. There I am helping her do shit. But you know, so it's interesting. Like this piece here, this took a lot of hours. I mean, we were.
How many hours is that? That's insane. By the way.
Yeah, we were working around the clock. I mean, I'm not even joking. 20 to 22 hours a day. She was in the shop, and I'm not even joking. Like,
what is that? Steel? What is that?
Yeah, that's just steel. She doesn't use any clay. This is all done with a grinder, a torch, and a welder, like all of that. And
that's so awesome.
Yeah, all those feathers were independently cut, grinded, shaped, polished, like all of this stuff. That's her mounting it to the bike right there.
Wow. That's wicked.
Yeah, and so the whole point was I know what you mean by starting with the face and starting with something.
Yeah.
because she starts every piece that way. If she gets the eyes right, then she can see the whole thing. And as we were sitting there and working on it, imagine like a whole week. They gave her the shortest timeline ever, and at first we were pissed, but then we realized this is just TV show business. Is how they do everything. And so I'm watching her going through this, and I would go to work, I'd come back, and then I'd help her, and then we're doing all these different things, and then I realize how artists' minds work, because I would get really frustrated because I need things to be neat and orderly, and then like they happen in a certain specific order where it makes sense with my brain. Whereas she would start with one thing, and then she would stop, and she would go and start working on another part of the bird, and then she would stop and go work on another part of the bird. And so I'm looking at 10 different pieces that are not finished.
It's not working for you.
There's no order whatsoever. But her brain saw the whole thing. Right. She saw the finished product before I could ever see it. And so she's like, it makes sense, and you just don't understand it. Like, I need to see this so I can see what it's going to look like from this angle, and because with her, yours is a 2D surface, hers is a 3D object. So every angle has to look like a masterpiece, which is wild.
I'm beyond impressed. It's funny. A couple things come to mind when you talk about her process. I was dealing with this recently. Actually, I just did a piece, and starting with the eyes, I get like just from a artistic standpoint, and I need to remind myself of that for multiple reasons. And this latest experience is one of them. I finished this piece, and I thought it was exactly how I wanted it to be, but the eyes I did last, and they were just slightly too far apart, and the whole thing looked ridiculous because of
one little thing.
I mean, that much of a difference. And I was like, luckily I was able to salvage it, and but I thought, man, if I should have just done the eyes first, and then I wouldn't even, because that's the hardest part. I mean, and I think in any pieces, if that doesn't look right, it doesn't look right.
Well, it makes sense too, because if you're able to make the eyes and the eyebrows, right, and then the crest of the nose there, and as soon as you can lock eyes with something that you feel is looking back at you, right?
There's a point for me. When I start laying material down, the first couple of maybe hour or two, I can't see it. Like I can see it in my head, but on paper it's not translating. And I don't know if I have it. Like, I could scrap this thing at any minute, and I feel this emotion every time. And then I get to a point, and I go, okay, I got it. Then it's like, now I just need to be here for another 12 hours, but I got it.
Right.
But the first couple of hours, it's very up in the air for me.
How often do you scrap stuff?
I really don't. This would have been the first, since I've really gotten, serious about it. Had I not been able to fix that eye, I would have scratched it because it just wasn't going to work. But, I don't know. I have an OCD part of my brain too. And I'm like, man, I'm 14 hours into this. I don't want to fucking scrap this. I'll be pissed. If I did, I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't do it over. I would just move on to something else. I'm not doing a thing a second time.
And how do you value your art when you're building a piece? How do you base it off of hours it takes to complete? Like, how do you,
That's a great question. I don't really know. I don't know that, monetary value is a weird thing, right? Like,
I know that I think all artists struggle with that because you don't want to undervalue your work, but you don't want to overvalue it, and nobody wants to buy it.
Well,
you have to survive.
When I started putting a price tag on my originals, honestly, I just did a bunch of, competitive analysis and research, and I thought, okay, what is a photorealistic charcoal piece, an 18 by 24 go for in these cities, New York, LA, Austin, whatever. And there was a kind of a window there, the same piece by an unknown artist goes for this, the same piece by a known name artist goes for this. So I kind of split the difference. Okay. That was kind of what I did.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if that's the right way or not.
And then the other part is like, as soon as you value your artwork at something less than now forever, I mean, maybe not forever, but for a good time, people are going to go, well, how come your last piece, you sold it for this?
Right.
I don't think it's worth that. And, it's like the difference, like why do people pay $1 million for a Ferrari?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's got 4 wheels. It's got,
Yeah.
you know, a windshield. It's got seats. It's got windows, you know, steering
Yeah.
wheel. It's got all the same parts. And yeah, it looks pretty. But why is that worth that? And then something else is worth $20,000.
Yeah, it's a man. I've given this a lot of thought, actually, and you know, putting money on art is a weird thing. A monetary value on it. I guess you have to.
Because it's really not about you, though, as the artist.
Right. Right.
You're trying to forecast what somebody's going to think this is worth to them.
Well, it's all about, you know, if you take Banksy, right? Like his work's incredible. There are artists that are as good as Banksy, but he had this incredible, or he or she, whoever he is, you know, I guess nobody knows really. I think his identity's been.
What's Banksy?
Banksy is an artist that he's done a lot of pieces. If you looked up some of his pieces, you'd probably recognize him. There's a girl holding a balloon.
It sounds familiar.
So I'm saying he's an artist. He's been around for, you know, a quarter of a century. That his pieces go for millions of dollars.
Oh, the red balloon guy. Yep.
Yeah, but nobody knows who he is. His
Nobody knows who he is?
It's like I think recently there's been like a.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah.
Like he was kind of outed, but I'm not 100% sure that that's real. But, you know, like it's really good. Like he's incredible. I'm not trying to underscore his work, but there's artists in the world that are as good as that. But, you know, somebody said, this is incredible and I'm going to pay millions of dollars for it. And then now the next person wants that for millions of dollars, right? It's all about, you know, when he's a cool study. You know, he doesn't put his pieces in galleries. He has his own, you know, art gallery. He doesn't work with anyone. He is full on independent control of his work. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it doesn't, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
What do you think about the underbelly, the dark side of the art world and collectors and galleries? How do you feel about that system?
I'm not super familiar with it, again, just because I'm, you know, relatively new to this. I've given it a lot of thought, and I hope to sidestep it. I hope to, you know, I'd use Banksy as an inspiration of like, I'd love to control my pieces. I'd love to control the narrative around it. You know, I'm not doing it for the money, you know, and I don't want someone to exploit my work, you know, and I think there's a ton of amazing galleries out there, and I think there's probably wonderful people in the art world, but there's also, just like anything, there's that seedy side of it. I haven't experienced, but I know it's out there, and hopefully I can avoid it.
I hope so too. I hope we all can. One thing that's really pissing me off, I know we were talking about abstract artwork. Have you seen the ones where there's videos going around where there's an artist who'll like tape a banana to a wall?
Yeah.
One of the newer ones is like a guy stacked like, I don't know, 15 buckets of sand on top of each other. And then everybody stood around and waited for this thing to fall. And he goes, voila. And everybody's like, oh my God, it's so amazing.
Right.
And then there was another one where this guy had like this, like, it was like a block of concrete. And he looked like a rock climber, like a, you know, granola rock climber guy. And he like puts some like chalk on his hand. He's like, he gets it ready. And he's like, jumps on it. And then he starts like, he like goes all the way around this thing in a circle. And then he jumps off and he's like does a little curtsy, puts his jacket on and like walks away. And everybody's just like,
amazing.
Brilliant.
Right. Look, performative art, whatever. Art speaks to people differently. You know, there's elements of it surprisingly that I get, like, you know, sometimes I want to like take one of my pictures and just burn it in front of somebody, and that's art to me, you know.
Ooh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, seriously, I did a Native American. I did that. I was telling you I channeled some, and one of the more recent ones I did, I had a medical reaction to it. I had a bowel obstruction in the middle of it, And I felt like it was some sort of dark entity. And I took that thing out and I burned it and I deleted every image of it that I had taken. And
Wait, what?
yeah, man.
Start over. What?
Okay, so I kind of told you why I got into the Native American stuff, and I felt like I was doing it for all the right reasons. I did 7 pieces, and it felt like I was doing the right thing. I was channeling these guys. They were turning out great, and then I said I was done. Okay, I'm done with that. I'm going to move on. I want to get into more an abstract phase of my career. And for some reason, I was like, I'm going to do one more. And it was kind of a last minute thing. And I was doing this piece, and as I was doing it, it was dark. I was putting like a crow on his hat, and like he's blinking, and it was kind of fucking dark. And it was probably around midnight, and I was sitting at the easel, and all of a sudden I had this pain in my chest, and I felt like, in retrospect, I think I was being exploitive on this one. I'd had some success on these other ones, and I was like, I'll tap into that. I wasn't doing it for the right reasons, and I had this pain in my chest, and it was bad. And I went to bed, and I thought I'd wake up the next day and it'd be okay, and it wasn't. I was worse. Ended up having to go to the emergency room, had a bowel obstruction. And something, when I was in the hospital, I was like, man, they don't want me to fucking do this anymore. Or I was doing it for the wrong reasons or something. And so I got home, and I literally burned some incense in my fucking studio, took that out, put it in a bowl and burned it, deleted any like progression pictures I'd taken of it. I was like, I want nothing to do with this.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I was fine.
That's crazy. Is it, I know a lot of comics, they talk about this like muse, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where they draw a lot of inspiration from this unseen force that kind of guides their hand when they're writing jokes and stuff like that. Do you feel there's something beyond the veil that leads your hand?
I think so. I mean, it's hard to say.
Because paintings really do. They affect culture.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where this isn't something that gets deleted after a year. There's no expiration date on this.
Yeah.
We're still looking at paintings from a long time ago. There's still paintings that are on cave walls that stick around.
Most of the paintings, oh man, I got thoughts on that. I want to circle back to that. But most of the art that I'm into is like, from the 17th century or 18th century oil paintings. I feel like there's a couple of oil painters out there right now. Mark Maggiore is one of them. He's an inspiration to me. He's an oil painter. He's incredible. My friends bought me one of his limited prints. But there's no one like him right now in that medium. But 400 years ago, they were all over Florence, right? And, you said something earlier just about like the regression kind of a society that we're into and stuff. I mean, architecture and everything like that. I think we're regressing as people. I always use this example, and I'm joking kind of, but it's a very simplified way to put it. When I was 6 years old, just like every 6-year-old that's from our generation, I could write a perfect alphabet in cursive, capital and lowercase, right?
Wow.
Well, anybody could then. I couldn't do that today.
Oh, that's a good point.
You see what I'm saying?
Guess I could, yeah.
I mean, maybe, yeah, you could when you were 6 years old.
I was picturing something else.
No, but I'm saying, you were taught, and you did this amazing thing. It was a second nature to you. But if someone forced you right now, hey, Shawn, I want you to do a perfect alphabet, cursive, capital, and lowercase, you're going to fuck up one of the fucking letters.
Yeah, I can't remember how to do the Q.
The Q is the one that gets it.
I remember how to do a lowercase Q, but I can't remember the capital Q.
But you see my point. Like, I don't know. It's it's weird. From architecture to artwork, I mean, these paintings back then were just so incredible. And they didn't have the distractions, right? They didn't have TikTok, and they didn't have bumper to bumper traffic, and they didn't have the tax man. You know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like they purposely want to keep us distracted from something. I think that the world's waking up to unknown powers that we each have, you know, like from, you know, there's remote viewing is becoming a very big thing. And people are realizing once they get into this meditative state that the mind's capable of a lot of things. And it's not only traveling to great distances to see what's happening over there, but traveling back in time and forward in time and speaking to entities that are on this planet, whether or not you want to believe it or not. There's a large group of people out there, and their governments are taking it very seriously. They hire these people to remote view. They found like kidnapped children with the help of remote viewers.
It's unbelievable.
They have identified their exact location.
That's unbelievable.
And sent the cops, and there it is. You know, so this stuff is working, and whether or not you believe it's conspiracy or whatever it is, if the government's taking it seriously, then there's something to it. And, you know, like the whole UAP phenomenon that's going on, the government's finally talking about what's going on. This is a very interesting time of disclosure in this world. And it's interesting to be alive, but it's also at a time where I don't trust anybody in government.
I don't either.
I don't. I thought Trump was our last great hope, and now what you're seeing is, unless he's got some grand plan that he hasn't let the rest of us in on, I don't trust anybody, and I don't trust anybody that's going to follow him. To be honest, I think it's like you were saying earlier. It's all pre-planned. It's one big show. Keep the peasants distracted and keep them from knowing that they have actual real power where they can manifest change to all of this. I believe in manifestation.
I do too.
I really do. I think it's truly possible, and I think that's the reason they want to eliminate people's creativity. They don't want people to look outside and wonder and think, and you know, and the more that they can keep us distracted, the better. Yeah. Keep the cattle distracted.
Yeah. Look at this little shiny thing over here. You said a lot there that I really agree with. You could convince me of a lot of things. You know, I could, if I was on the debate team and you gave me this as any one of these things as a topic, I could argue it, right? I could make a case for life in distant galaxies that is visiting us. I could make a case for their future humans, time traveling. I could make the case that, you know, we're in some sort of Truman Show or the multiverse, or, I mean, all of these things are on the table to me, but it's just the one constant that I feel is that what we're being told is bullshit, you know? And that's kind of what led me to this, is like, I don't know shit about shit. Oh, yeah, there it is. I love it.
I forgot we were
that's a good one, man.
Yeah, we were talking about him, and I was like, why didn't I pull up a picture of this?
You know, but you know what we're talking about right now
this was my first Salvador Dali painting that I had on my wall.
This is perfect for what we're talking about right now, though. Okay, A, you know, he's incredible. But B, why was this in his brain in that minute?
He dreamt it.
I know, but why? Like, why? Where are these dreams coming from? Why would he dream about skeleton elephants? Well, no, but you've had fucked up dreams. We all have. Mm-hmm. Where are we in that moment?
Well, he would always put ants were pretty much in all of his paintings. I don't see any in this one. But it always represented death, because like he grew up in a time of war. And so death was always ever present in his mind. And so he would have nightmares a lot about, you know, dying and stuff like that.
Is he from Spain? Where is he from?
I don't know. That's a good question.
You know,
but I mean, I used to fascinate, you know, I used to look at this and the detail that he would put in, you know, and it was always something.
That's the little things.
There was always something down below that you were just like, why? You know, this is such a grand picture, but then he would always put something down below that you're like, why this? And what are they doing?
That's my favorite, Shawn. That's my favorite thing about a piece is, you know, looking at the whole thing that, you know, it's obviously bold and amazing, but when you zoom in on little things.
Catalonia, Spain. He was born in Catalonia, Spain.
I thought he was Spain.
1904.
Can you go back to any one of my pieces that you had up earlier. I want to show you something. This, could you bring something up? That's my, like, when you look at that picture, it's just bonkers and so good.
Where did the, there we go.
So my favorite thing on, just as an artist, and if I'm geeking out about something, is,
no, I want you to geek.
You know, so you look at that and you're like, oh, that's really cool. But I want you to zoom in on his eye sockets. And I like those little cracks in the eye sockets.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's the little subtle things.
It's the subtle things, and these are choices that I'm making, Shawn, that I don't know why I'm making them. I'm honest. I'm not really sure. Zoom out again. I'll have you go somewhere else different. Maybe go to one of the different pictures.
Okay.
I'll show you something cool. But these are the things that like geek me out. Any one of them. Okay. So if zoom in on his the like headband on his headdress right there. It's just the little fabric and the shadow underneath on his forehead.
I see
that point. There is my favorite point in a picture. And okay, so if you leave it right there, when I was talking about I'll be working the charcoal, I'll be doing something, and then I'll step away from it, and I come back, and I'm like, God damn, that looks like a fucking shadow. But I'm not really sure. I mean, I was trying to do that, but I didn't really know I was going to do that.
Yeah, you didn't plan for it.
I mean, I like wanted to
do
out of you. Something, but and just these three, human DNA, paper, tree, raw earth material, charcoal, that marriage, there's something there that
there's a reason. There's a reason that medium became so popular with painters, right?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because when you're painting, like a real person, right? Mm-hmm. Was this a real person here?
That's his name was Chief Three Horses. He was a Lakota Sioux chief.
So it's almost like, in a way, like they say your soul never dies as long as people keep remembering you and talking about you. So in a way, it's like you could have channeled this chief, and he said, if you're gonna make me, you're gonna make me the way I want to be made. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and it doesn't hurt that they're staring right at you as you're doing it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, I promise I'm going to do my best.
Yeah, that's why you can't be too good at eyes, because these are way too good. I can't even imagine. Look at the detail, the little subtle veins that you get when you get on in age.
These are all choices, you have to make, and that's what keeps kind of tripping me out. Is I'm like, why did I put that little tiny line there? Right. Wherever it is, it's you have to have an eye. One of the things I struggle with, you'll be shocked at this.
What
is, there's two things that are important in art. If you're doing a profile picture, especially, it's there's value that we talked about earlier, black, white, and everything in between there. That shading, I can pretty much do that in my sleep. Then there's structure. So I could draw this picture exactly the way I did, but like I talked about earlier, if his eyes are too far apart, he looks like a freaking special needs child. Mm-hmm. And I struggle with that. My eye, for some reason, doesn't, I have to like really focus. It helped me when I started drawing back in the fall. I was drawing on a desk, and I quickly realized, I would draw something and I was like, oh, it looks amazing. And then I would compare it to maybe any reference I was using, and it would look totally off. So when I moved to an easel, it's kind of a one-on-one, right? Like you're in the same perspective. And even then I struggle with it. I don't know why. I have a cowboy hat. I wear a lot of cowboy hats. And I was shaping one the other day. Ryan, again, bring him up for the third time. He was like, just do it yourself, brother. And I was shaping the hat, and I was trying to get it right, and it would look right. And I'm just like, it's perfect. And then I would go in the mirror and I'd be like, wait, it's fucking off. Like, I don't know. Why I'm like cross-eyed or something, but I have to really struggle with
I don't know how you
structure.
guys do that. I don't know how you do any of this, to be honest. I don't have this. I don't have this in me.
Well, I don't have taken two-way gunfire in me, so so I get it.
I do specialize.
I know
in
you
that,
do.
sir.
I know.
That's where I shine.
Touche, brother.
That was
Yeah.
like my first firefight. When I realized how excited I was to be in a firefight,
Wow.
I was like, "Oh yeah, so this is what I was meant to do." You know, like people find their thing
Yeah.
through all certain things, you know, or certain ways, and it's like for soldiers that really enjoy being a soldier, you don't get to experience our Super Bowl is getting in a firefight. You
Wow.
talk to a soldier, it's like the whole deployment, everybody walks around like this, like, oh my fucking God, fucking stuck here for fucking 7 more months. This is so fucking stupid. And then as soon as they get in a firefight, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. I love this shit.
Yeah, I don't think I have that gene.
It lasts for the high lasts for like a day. And then it goes back to, oh, fuck, here we go. And it was funny because I would see, you know, like there was a lot of people that units would be attached to us shortly for brief periods of times. We would have a lot of help, you know, that would come in, and we had like female engagement teams that would get attached to us. And because like in Afghanistan, you're not in Muslim culture. Me as an American, I am not allowed to go speak to an Afghani wife, right? A woman. It's very taboo. It'll upset all of the locals, including the partner forces, Afghani National Army, Afghani local police. They'll get very upset because you do not talk to an Afghani woman, kind of thing. And so we would you know enlist these female FET teams, female engagement teams, and they would come like in 2s or 3s, and they would get attached to us for a couple of months, and then they'd swap out with another group or whatever. And it was funny because when they would come in, most of these girls had never been on deployment before. They've never been in a combat zone. They never signed up to get in firefights or do any of this shit, right? So they were very nervous. And we would take them, you know, your first time outside the wire, you could get into a gunfight at any second. Troops in contact, a tick. And so, you know, we'd be going, they'd be like super nervous. All their uniforms were brand new, camouflage.
Crisp.
You know, their guns, like they've never even oiled it before, you know, and it's just like, relax, don't worry about it, you know, don't worry about this. And so, but little by little, you get into a small firefight, and then you get into a longer firefight, and you know, and after a while, they've done like a dozen of these, okay? And then, so we would see these girls, and then we get to know them. They become part of our family, or you know, they become sisters to the platoon, and then they would go off, and they would go get attached to another unit, and they'd bring in different ones. They were constantly rotating these girls.
So they
everywhere.
had specialized female.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the reason behind that? I mean, I understand like
because we
females
can't talk to the females, and so the
Oh.
women in Afghanistan, they would sing like canaries, right? If you wanted to get information on, hey, which one of these guys is ISIS, which one of these guys is Taliban, the guys, they would never talk. It's like mafia rules there. But the women, they fucking hated their husbands for the most part. Most of them did. They were like, oh yeah, you want to know? That guy's fucking Taliban.
Were they all married? Were they all married?
Yeah, they were all. Most of them were married, or you know, whatever, or their husband had died, or you know, whatever it is. So the female engagement team would get the most intel out of anybody. Out of all the work we would do, they would get the best intel.
I bet
because
you'll
you
tell,
know,
because you're a woman.
yeah, the women were like, finally, I get to tell somebody, you know, and so you know, like this goes on, and so some of these FET teams that were with us, they would be attached to us at the beginning of the deployment, and by the end of it, say we've been there for like 7 or 8 months now at this point, you would run into them. They would be getting back from like a mission with another unit, and so they'd be landing on their helicopters, and they'd be coming in, and I just remember it like it was yesterday, but there was one of these girls that was attached to us, and when she first came in, like I said, brand new camouflage, never done any of this stuff, like the, you know, like super green. She gets off this helicopter, and I'm like, no fucking way. She's got her sleeves cut off. She's like, her pants are cut off into shorts now.
Nice.
Hairy legs, just fucking.
Not nice.
Like, no. I mean, like,
Not
just
nice.
like a savage. Like, she had completely changed. And then I saw her, and I was, you know, sweaty armpits. They just got back from like a big firefight, and she's just like, woo! You know, like, she's like fired up, and she sees me, she gives me a big hug. And I'm like, compared to the person that I knew that first got there into what she had become in that short amount of time, I'm like, this is wild. She's like, I was like, how's the op? She's like, fucking awesome. We got firefights after a firefight. I fucking shoot motherfucker, blah, 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 blah.
Damn. You
And I'm
either
like-
have that or you don't.
Yeah.
right?
And I'm like, you've changed.
How were you? Let me ask you. How were you in your? Because I know obviously I can see the excitement rise up in you when I talk about a firefight. Now
It's fun.
Now you've intrigued me. Yeah. How were you going into your first?
Oh, I was a little nervous. I was a little green too. My first deployment, first time we left, we went outside the wire.
Because you don't know, right?
Yeah,
you
you
don't
don't
know.
know.
You don't know.
You don't know. You don't know until you get
Tell me
there.
about that one.
My first.
Yeah, yeah.
It's actually kind of a funny story. So our first, so I was a new guy, and so all the new guys had to be the vehicle drivers, right? We didn't always leave our base in vehicles. Sometimes we were on foot, but
Is
sometimes
this Afghanistan?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so I was the lead vehicle driver in this. We had 4 vehicles, and so as soon as we left, we're driving, and we're on nods because everything you do, if you're doing outside the wire, it's nighttime, and so you don't do it. There's no headlights on this truck, and these trucks are fucking big, dude. Like,
What are they? What?
it's like MRAP.
Oh,
Or I
yeah,
think
yeah,
this
yeah.
this specific one was called the RG 31 or 33. I can't remember, the bigger one of the two. Some military scholar out there is gonna figure it out. But so we're driving in these big ass fucking trucks, and I mean, like the wheels are this
10 feet tall.
tall off the ground because they need distance from IEDs, give you a better chance, right? And so we're riding in this truck, and I'm driving, and I've never driven a truck this big. We did like a small little course.
You're
but
driving the truck.
I'm driving.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, and
like,
I'm-
here's your truck.
And
drive
I'm a
it.
new guy, and I've never been outside
Okay.
the wire.
Okay.
And so also I'm very unfamiliar with this place. And they would put the canals right alongside the roads, right? So like the water canals, and everything is mud there. There's no asphalt. There's
Can
nothing.
I call a timeout for 1 second?
Yeah, go for it.
Hang on, just real quick. Okay, you're a new guy. I'm driving a truck that's 10 feet off the ground in Afghanistan. I'm about to face gunfire. Okay, go. Whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
So we're
trying to get a
driving, and
picture.
already my heart's beating a little bit because I'm like, this
Yeah.
is my first one. It's not that I was nervous; I was excited, And when I
You're-
get excited, I'm like,
That's a
right?
key moment there.
yeah,
That's a key moment.
yeah,
Like, I might be shitting in my pants.
yeah.
You're excited.
Yeah, I was
Okay, that's-
excited.
that says something about you.
I've been wanting to do this since I was 10 years old. You have to understand, right?
Fuck yeah.
So we get out, and
Let's
as
go.
soon as we leave, we go through the front gate. I don't know what happened, but my wheel got stuck in the fucking little water canal right alongside the road. I mean,
shit.
not even 15 yards outside of the gate. So I fucked the mission 15 yards out of the front
out of
gate.
the gate.
My truck got stuck.
How many people are behind you?
3 vehicles.
Okay.
All filled with Navy SEALs. My truck's filled with them. Their trucks are filled with them. And I'm the fucking new guy that got the truck stuck 15 fucking yards outside of the gate.
FNG.
Fucking new guy. So, I mean, eventually they pulled me out and we went. And it was a successful mission. And we did everything.
They
was
gave you
fine.
shit about it, though.
Oh, I never lived it
They
down.
still talk shit to you
I
about
never lived it down. There was like a comic that was, because we new guys would have to write comics, and where you're just shitting on new guys all the time.
Because you're
basically.
artists at heart.
Yeah, we're artists. Horrible paintings. You would have been great. They would have made you the artist. But yeah, no, so, and mine's like gripping the wheels and veins popping out of my eyes because I'm so scared. Like, I wasn't fucking scared.
I'm loving this story.
I'm telling you people.
I'm loving this. Keep going.
I was so mad at myself though. I'm like, oh my God. I've been preparing for this day since I was 10 years old.
You're like Rudy. You remember that part in Rudy?
Fucking drive.
Have you seen Rudy, the movie?
Oh yeah.
When he's gonna go out in that game, right?
Yeah.
The team stepped up for him through their jerseys on thing.
Yeah.
He's in the tunnel, and that captain grabs him by the face mask. And he's like, "You ready for this, champ?" He's like, "I've been waiting for this my whole life." That fucking moment, man. That was you. That was you.
That was me.
You're like, "I'm fucking ready."
It's wild.
So keep going. Keep going. Tell me about it.
Well, so we got unstuck, and then the mission was a success. It was very simple. We didn't even get into a firefight. But there was a lot of moments on deployment. You get into a lot of situations where, like we were talking about when I knew that this was my element, and it was my first firefight where there was bullets flying back and forth. And it's like, oh my God, like I can die right here, you know, and where what I noticed is like everybody reacts differently to a situation like that. Right? Everything is just training and you're going through the motions until you realize, holy fuck, there's bullets flying and snapping overhead or hitting the ground. And I'm like, wow, any one of these could be mine. And as soon as the assault happens, you're checking yourself. Am I bleeding out right now? Because a lot of times these soldiers get hit.
They don't know it.
They don't even know it until it's too late, you know? And so you're like, fuck, I'm hiding. There's bullets flying. I'm checking myself. I'm like, good. Are you good? I'm good. You know, all right, what do we do next? But I noticed in that moment, like there's certain people, it takes a while before their wheels start spinning again because they're stuck in this moment of like, oh, fuck, this is real now. This is actually happening.
What a fucking human moment, man.
And so, but like, that's where I know, just like you're talking about, like, this is my element. This is when I channel something. Like, that's when I know, because I can see my wheels start, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here. I'm being honest, and I recognize what I see because I've seen it. I've been in a lot of firefights with a lot of different people and varying degrees and backgrounds and ethnicities and whatever. And it's like, for whatever reason, when shit hits the fan, I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm like, I'm not scared. I'm not nervous. I'm like, what do I got to do? You want me to go over there? You want me to do this? Okay, boom. And I'm like, come on. You know, and I'm like,
you're really good at that.
So that's, that's my element.
That puts a lot of this art in perspective. Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That puts a lot of this art in perspective in that, like, what you were doing really matters.
I'd say you should start doing some paintings from war, brother. Modern day.
I'd be into it, man.
Yeah.
I'd be into it. You know, my
with this skill set, you could make some badass fucking.
My granddad, my mom's dad, was a.
There's ice too over there if you need it.
Yeah, I'll grab it. Do you want some? You good?
I'm good. I'm slow rolling here.
My mom's dad is from Vernon, Texas. Shout out to Vernon, Texas. Population like 80. And he was born in 1919, and he joined the Army, actually joined the Texas National Guard in 1941 or 42, whenever it is, because he saw the war coming, like a lot of Americans did. And he was deployed to the Pacific, and he was at Pearl Harbor, and he left out into the Pacific 1 week, like 7 days exactly before Pearl Harbor happened. And he was out in the Pacific. He fought in Burma. He was on the back of a Jeep as a machine gunner. And then a few months in, he was on an island called Java. And I'm going to shout out to Keith Naylor. And they were surrounded by the Japanese. He surrendered. And he was a Japanese prisoner of war for 3.5 years.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Can you fucking imagine?
That's wild.
Yeah. And he lived in his 80s. I love him. He was amazing, but he didn't talk about it a lot.
Well, thank you for your service, sir.
No, he was incredible.
That's when people say, thank you for your service. It's like, those are the ones you should be thanking.
Yeah, no.
They're the ones that sacrificed more than we did.
You know what's cool, too? His wife, my grandmother, her brother, around the same time, joined the Army Air Force and became a fighter pilot, and was a fighter pilot in World War II, and then a bomber in Korea.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Jay Summy. And they both lived into their 80s, both badass motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Props. So when I'm doing this art, and it's cool, it's real cool. I'm good at it. But when I hear stories like yours, and when I hear stories like my grandfather's and my great uncles, and it puts it in perspective for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's art. Like, I'm just drawing shit.
Right. Well, that's where it comes. It's like, if you were given a gift, how can you use that to serve the people that you grew up with in your time, right?
Yeah.
Like, because the older I'm getting, the more I'm starting to realize, like, there's a lot of division in this world. There's a lot of hate in this world. But the older I get, the more I realize that despite all of our differences, there's something that connects all of us together. And it's not talked about enough. And it's that we are all on this earth at the same time in history together.
Yeah.
This is a special thing. It's like we're part of a fraternity.
Yeah.
All of us, even
Yeah.
if we hate each other, even if we're different color skin, different religions, right? Left and right. Like it doesn't matter. It's like we are all here at the same time, and that's special to me at least. And
Yeah.
and I think if that was focused on more, maybe we wouldn't be so harsh on each other all the time, or so judgmental, or it's like, I mean, look at the world today. 100 years from now, every single thing will be gone on this earth. Everybody that's here, every animal, every bug.
That's a weird thought, right?
Every single thing will be wiped clean and new ones will have replaced us, right? That's their fraternity. This is ours. We replaced the ones 100 years ago, right? And so to me, that's cool.
Like super cool.
That's something that's special. And that's the point I'm making is like, I don't know. I don't know how to convey it any other way. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by Grizzly Coolers, the only cooler I trust when I'm out there. Roto-molded, bear-proof, and holds ice for 10 days straight. And unlike the overseas knockoffs, every Grizzly is proudly made in America with American steel and American grit. Hit grizzlycoolers.com and use my code Shawn, that's SHAWN, for 15% off. Grizzly Coolers, built here, built tough.
If we could, I've thought about this. If we could start from each one of those 100 years that we have, as a society, if we could like compartmentalize that, you do your thing for 100 years and then the next people do their thing for 100 years. It would be, I feel like there would be progress.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is there's this bleed over, right? There's this 50-year bleed over to where the sins of the past are brought forward, and and
nobody can ever forgive each other for things that happened generations ago.
Yeah, because we're all just fucking humans, man.
Yeah,
we're all just fucking humans, And I'm a guy in Austin. And I'm doing art, and I'm not trying to minimalize it, but I'm a guy in Austin doing art.
Mm-hmm.
In the big picture, what the fuck does it matter? I don't know. To me, it matters a lot. To me, it's everything.
Yeah.
To me, it's fucking everything.
Yeah.
But to the guy in, Birmingham, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Right.
Or Afghanistan.
Or Afghanistan, or fucking Spain, or whoever. Right.
That's the one thing I didn't see when I was there. Artwork.
In where?
In Afghanistan.
You said something earlier about the hieroglyphics and, what the fuck, man? Like UFOs and helicopters, like Black Hawks, like actual fucking Black Hawks in hieroglyphics.
Makes you wonder, like we were talking about, the remote viewing and meditative. That was something that was very prevalent back in the day, is meditation. And it makes you wonder if these people in meditation were doing psychedelics and they were in some sort of trance and seeing things into the future that they couldn't quite explain, right?
I don't think psychedelics were necessary.
No?
I think they were available.
Yeah.
I think that, a lot of like the Bible and burning bush and a lot of shit was like psychedelic infused.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were necessary. I think they had a knowledge that we don't have. Honestly, I think something was fucking lost intentionally.
Do you think there's aliens?
I'm open to that concept. I think this, I talked earlier about my dad dying. And you always think about the afterlife and what's next and all of that kind of stuff. I'm open to I think honestly that what's next, we can't even conceptualize. If you think about like 10-year-old Shawn, right? You ask him about the future. Like, you're not going to talk about GoFundMe or Wi-Fi or podcasts, or you can't even think of that.
Yeah.
You're talking about flying cars and shit.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Like, I think that's the same way. My dad died. We had it was a weird relationship. We weren't ever at odds or anything, but we weren't ever tight. He had a different view. He was very religious, all that kind of stuff. I was raised that way. And, when he passed away, I was like, where is he? Where is he right now? When you lose someone, where are they? They know the answers, right? Anyone you've ever known that's passed away, they have the answers to the afterlife. That's a fucking weird thing to me. They know what's next.
I think about that a lot too.
It's a weird fucking thing. Whatever's next. And hey, maybe nothing's next. Maybe, do you remember
that too?
Do you remember before you were born? No. Maybe you don't remember after you die. I don't know. That's a scary thought. You don't like to think that. We talk about, I think everybody would agree this is a meat suit.
Yeah.
Right? You're wearing a meat suit. But it's not just the meat suit, and this kind of fucked me up. It's the identity, right? So, the perfect world, the perfect afterlife for you is you with your kids, right? But not only does the Shawn Johnson meat suit not exist, maybe the Shawn Johnson identity doesn't exist. Maybe that light inside of you who's here is off, and on to the next thing, whatever that is.
I agree. Yeah. I have a new series that I'm doing as a part of my podcast is called the Legacy Podcast. And I did my first one. So I have like my, podcast that I do. This is episode 61 in my real podcast, but I'm doing a series that's going to be inside of that podcast that's separate from the actual podcast. And what it's called it's called the Legacy Podcast. And the whole intention behind this is I don't think that we do a good enough job of recording the history or like the knowledge and wisdom that's of our elderly. I think we're capable.
Tell me more about that.
I don't think we do a good enough job. I think we have the technology and the equipment that we should be recording all of it. Unless you're a famous old person, we don't have any video footage of you. Maybe we got some shitty home camera footage at a birthday party or something like that. But we don't have any like professional footage of these people sitting down answering questions, right? That's a lot of information and knowledge, lessons learned, hard knock life lessons, values, wisdom that's lost. It's just lost when they pass away. We have secondhand stories that are told by their friends and family, and we have pictures typically, and that's it. And there's no excuse for that. We have all of everything we need to record all this. We should have an archive. But there should be an archive of generations upon generations upon generations of information tied to each bloodline. And so imagine you growing up as a kid and all these questions you have about the universe and about your family and about life and hormones and women and all this stuff. What if you could draw on all of this information? What if you had a catalog of 100 generations before you of your dad and his dad and his dad and his dad and his dad and everybody on that male line that you could pull from that wisdom to help you in life? And so we wouldn't be repeating the same mistakes over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so my goal with the Legacy Podcast is to put an end to that. And obviously it's going to take a very long time. I won't see the results in my lifetime, but I want to be the one that started it. So I did my neighbor right next door. His name's Melvin Arlt. He's 85 and he's not doing so hot, and he realizes his days are limited. And so I talked to his daughter, Kelly. Kelly, went to Melvin. I'd talked to Melvin a few times, but, not about this. And so I told Kelly about the situation. She broke down crying. She loved it. She went to Melvin. She talked to Melvin. Melvin shows up at my door and he's like, let's see the studio. And so I bring him in here. I sit him in the seat you're sitting in. I have him try these things on. He's like, whoa, that sounds different, And I'm like, yeah, a little different.
A little different.
I told him why I'm doing this and the purpose behind it. And, but like the biggest thing is like, I want you to be the one that tells your story. I think that's something that is sacred. And having somebody else tell your story for you, sure, that's nice. But you should be the one who dictates how your memory is remembered. Right. And I think I think that should be a sacred sacrament. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but I think that should be something that before everybody dies, at some point you should sit down and you should tell your story. You should tell people, all your future generations. And those are the questions that I asked Melvin. I said, Melvin, imagine 1,000 years from now, your bloodline is going to watch this. Let's say this sticks around and people go back and watch this 1,000 years from now and go, that's where we came from. Like, what would you say to them? To give you an opportunity and not only to speak to the future generations, but I told them too, like, you are going to pass soon, right? We all have to cross that line. I go, there's going to be people that show up to your funeral and your procession, stuff like that. Like, this is your opportunity to address all of them in the audience. And so, he broke down a little bit, but he was really strong about it, and because he knows it's coming. And I'm like, this is special that you get the opportunity to say goodbye, because he's not going to go visit all these people before he passes. People are busy. People have their own thing.
It's an incredible opportunity.
Yeah. And so he was the first one and we did it. It's going to post this Friday at 7 a.m. So, and he was,
dude, I fucking love it.
He was cool and he let me post it and he had these crazy stories. He was born in 1941, right? His dad was in the army. Like he worked at NASA for a number of years. He lived this crazy life. He told me his earliest memory was when he was 4 years old. He remembers holding his birthday cake on a porch, standing on it was like a brick with limestone over the top of it. He said, that's my earliest memory. I remember standing on there with my birthday cake. And I go, Melvin, do you realize that was 81 years ago? You remember a memory from 81 years ago.
That's incredible.
He's like, it's crazy.
Those are the best fucking guests for you to have on.
Yeah.
I mean, like your show's incredible. Like, I'm not going to give you any pointers, but have more of that guy.
Well, I want to have more of all of these people.
Have more of that guy.
I want this to become a thing. I want podcast studios all around the world to open them up to these. Like, we should have an archive. And it's not just for their family. It's for all of us, because we all are a part of this human story. And this should be an archive for all of us to share. And that's why when I talked to him, I said, look, you can keep this private. If you just want to keep this within your family, that's completely fine. If you want to keep it within the family until after you pass, and then I could post it, or keep it private forever, or just let it go public. And he was like, I don't care. I want this to be public. Let it public, And so
you're on to something here, brother. Like I don't need to tell you anything you don't know, but like, you're doing this for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You're doing it for the right reasons. And I can tell. And these kinds of stories are the bane of that. Like you're fucking keep going, dude.
Thanks, man.
Like,
that's my goal.
Fucking going. Do not stop.
Thanks, brother.
Do not fucking stop. I'm honored that you fucking had some fucking charcoal artists in Austin.
Dude, since in the last year, I've had at least 4 people come up to me and go, "Hey, do you know Anson?" And I was like, "No, who's that?" And then after that, I was like, "Yeah, I've heard of him. We just haven't crossed paths yet." And they're like, and then a couple months later, somebody was like, "Dude, you need to have Anson on your podcast." And then a couple months later, "You need to have Anson on your." And I'm like, "Okay, I think the universe is telling me I need to have Anson on my podcast."
Well, we talked about this earlier. Like, I think we have a dozen friends or so that are crossbred. I think open minds, good-hearted fucking people, like true people, like are drawn to one another.
Yeah,
I feel that.
Yeah.
You know, I'm very fortunate. I've got some amazing friends. I've got some like genuinely amazing friends. I want to say something. I'd be remiss if I didn't say this. Back in the art for a second. So I spent a week in Marfa, Texas, a week or two ago, and I'm good friends with a guy named JJ, and he's the lead singer for a very popular band named Cleo. And he's just one of the greatest guys I've ever met, and so artistic, so talented, fucking inspiration. And he and I spent a lot of time together in the car and in, nowhere, Texas. And some art things came to mind. And one of those things was an art show that we're going to put on in Joshua Tree in the fall, maybe late September, where we're combining his music, my art, some friends of ours, photographers, jewelry makers, hat makers, people we just respect. And it's going to be an amazing fucking thing.
What's it going to be called?
I'm not sure yet. We're still deciding on a name. We're thinking about Ashfield.
Oh, that's a good name.
Or the Ashfields. We want to do one. We're going to do one Joshua Tree.
Nice.
That's going to be first spot. And then maybe semi-annual.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Milan next, or Paris, or we're just gonna do some stuff, and we're gonna bring together artists. We'd be honored to have your girl.
Yeah,
I mean, her work's incredible. She would be a welcome addition.
What about me?
You too, of course. You could document the whole thing with your fucking. Cool. You'd be like, "Hey guys, I'm over here doing real life shit. I'm like saving the world, but whatever. But seriously, you know what I mean? Like, we just want to have an artist venue of people we like and respect and put on a show. We've thought about doing other shows that we've been invited to, and we want to do them, and they're great. But let's do our own thing, man.
Yeah. Sounds like the early stages of Burning Man.
It might be. It might be.
We're gonna have our own Texas version.
We're gonna be doing a lot of drugs. You're gonna be wearing a Speedo, but whatever.
Why not? Speaking of Speedo, I was thinking of the Icelandic thing that you were saying. Have you ever seen that movie Eurovision with Will Ferrell?
I haven't.
Bro, it's so good.
I'm going to watch that tonight.
You have to watch that tonight. You will laugh your fucking ass off. Eurovision.
Okay.
It's I don't know why it never went mainstream, because it's Will Ferrell. It should have been like bigger than I thought. But we've probably watched that movie like 30 times. It is fucking absolutely hilarious.
He's gold.
He's gold. He's gold. Yeah, the whole premise of the movie is he's Will Ferrell, so he looks like Will Ferrell, but he wants to be like this like pop singer. And in Eurovision is a very huge competition in Europe, right? This is like a massive competition.
Like K-pop.
And so imagine Will Ferrell trying to go with all these young kids to be that superstar and win this competition. Like, you can imagine, it's fucking, and he's got this accent that he perfected for
Where's he from? Where's he from in this movie?
I forget. It's where they have elves and shit.
I don't even know.
Sweden or I don't know, one of those countries. But yeah, it is. You'll fucking laugh your ass off.
I'm watching it tonight.
Yeah, there's one scene. Not to ruin it. Spoiler alert. Close your ears. But there's one scene where he's flipping out and he's so pissed off about something, and he runs outside of the arena, and he's just like throws a trash can, and he's looking for something else to break, and he sees like a porta potty, and he like fucking pushes a porta potty over. This guy's like, ah! Yeah.
I love him. Will Ferrell, man. You know what? He's a prime example. He throws shit against the wall. And like, most of the time it's fucking funny. Sometimes it's not great. But man, he's fucking gold. I'm watching that tonight.
Oh, you have to watch it.
I'm watching it tonight.
I'm watching it tonight too now.
Uh-huh. Hey, can we have some popcorn and sit next to each other? Can we hold hands? Can I cut a hole in the popcorn?
Tell me one of the most underrated artists that's out there that nobody's ever heard of, but that you know from your work.
But man, that's a fucking great question. All the artists I admire are already well known. I talked earlier about Mark Majori. He's an inspiration, not just from his talent, because it's insane. I'd seen his work on Instagram on his page and people posting it was fucking nuts. But like I mentioned earlier, some friends of mine purchased me a limited print, and when I got it to my house, like seeing it in color was I've just never seen anything vibrant as that. It was super fucking inspiring. Even though I'm dealing in black and white and all of that, there was just elements of that. And then his style as a human being, I was drawn to that.
What?
As a human being.
Oh, as a human being.
Yeah, just...
Is that a big part of an artist? Would you say that's just equally as important as their art?
For me, it is. Yeah, I've shifted. I used to be 50 pounds heavier, Shawn, and had a fucking Viking beard, and I was just a wrecking crew. And
what do you mean you were a wrecking crew?
I just, everywhere I went, people thought I was what you did for a living. You know what I mean? And I was tired of answering for that. No, I'm not a fucking Navy SEAL.
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean?
I see.
I looked like what you guys look like in Hollywood.
I see.
Does that make sense?
So your identity was something that you weren't. You were an artist.
I was an artist in my heart.
Yeah.
But I was something altogether different. I was in the firearm space.
And did it feel good when you started to clean yourself up and you lost weight and you started to realize that this is me?
Yeah, it felt natural.
Yeah.
Recently, I walked by a mirror and I saw myself, and I'm 6'4", 195 pounds. 5 years ago I was 6'4", 250 pounds.
Wow, congrats!
But jacked, and a big beard, and I was a firearm guy, and that's great. And the gun space has provided me, it's provided for my family, and it's been wonderful. But I didn't altogether know that it was me. And the other day I walked by the mirror and I was like 195 pounds, kind of tall and skinny guy, and not much of a beard and cowboy hat. And I was like, man, you look like 25-year-old you, which is weird because I'm doing 25-year-old me things with the art, right?
Yeah.
I stopped doing art when I was 25, but now I'm doing it.
It's like you took a hiatus from who you were.
That's weird. Yeah, I don't know what that means.
How'd you lose all that weight?
Initially, I got back from SHOT Show in 2020.
Why'd you say it like that?
I don't know. I got back from SHOT Show in 2020, January of 2020, late January, and COVID had already been amongst us. And a lot of people got sick, and that's when I was at my heaviest. I stepped on a scale, I was like 249. And I thought, God damn, I need to fucking lean out some. And then COVID hit, pandemic hit. I got more regimented. I was home. I wasn't traveling. My diet was good. And I leaned out to like 225, 220. And I was kind of around that weight. Then I was involved in a fucked up car accident 4 years ago. It was really, it's a big element of things that we haven't talked about that shifted my life. I was with my best friend and my son and my best friend's cousin, and we were in a Tesla in 2022 on Easter Sunday. And we hit a brick wall going 117 miles an hour.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was fucked up. It's fucked up. Like, real fucked up.
Yeah.
And we weren't even being stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been stupid a million times.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here, and we're about to hit this wall, and I'm going, I'm about to die, and I'm not doing anything stupid. I'm sober, and fucking whatever. And I was in a coma for 8 days. My pelvis broke off, 6 ribs, clavicle, sternum, left leg, bleeding from an artery, all these things. And, I woke up from that coma and I just thought, I'm not going to be mad. We just got to go. We just got to go. My son severed his L3 vertebrae all the way through. He was 17 at the time. And, ever since then, I think low key, I've been on a bit of a crucible. You know what I mean? There's part of me that wonders if I died that day. And this is like some alternative reality.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But to answer your question, I lost some weight during that. And, but then I felt like I need to, this is the weight I need to be. I just like the art, like I need to be here. I need to draw. I need to be 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be whatever. I follow my gut. Sometimes it's right. Sometimes it's wrong.
Yeah.
And
so you said this happened 4 years ago?
It happened Easter Sunday, 2022. A little over 4 years.
Yeah. And how long did it?
It's a big deal.
So you were in a coma for 8 days?
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember anything?
Mm-mm.
Did you not remember the accident or anything when you woke up?
No, I remembered exactly what happened.
You did?
Yep. When I woke up, I remembered exactly. I knew why I was there, what had happened, everything, like in detail.
Do you remember anything from the coma?
No. That's the weird part. Is in that coma, there was no visions. I wasn't scared. I wasn't happy. I was just out. And then I remember waking up and being like, I had a breathing tube and all this stuff. Like, get this shit out of me, like fucking ready to get up. Mm-hmm. I'm not joking. Like, get this shit out of me. Yeah. It was instant. And then I woke up and it was like, oh, you're really fucked up. You need to, this is going to be a moment. Right? Yeah. You're not going to be better tomorrow. And I remember being very angry at the driver. And immediately, like Shawn, instant, going, don't hold on to that. Mm-hmm. Because it's going to deter you from your recovery.
And the driver was your friend?
No, my friend was the passenger. The driver was the passenger's cousin.
Okay.
But there was, when you're in a situation like that, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about this. There's the people in your life that will step up, right? Like, like, oh, it doesn't surprise me that they were there the whole fucking time. Yeah. But then there's people that don't step up that you're like, man, where'd they go? And then there's the people, and the ones that excite me are the ones that show up that you didn't expect. Right. And, we talked earlier off podcast about we have a lot of mutual friends. I'm going to make an assumption that we know the same guy. But somebody that stepped up for me was Brigham Bueller with Ways to Well. Do you know Brigham?
Oh, yeah. I know him very well.
So Brigham, like, I'll get emotional talking about Brigham because he was such a, he's got a lot of notoriety, and what he does is amazing. And he's on Joe Rogan, and he does all these things, and it's super cool. But he's a fucking real one, you know.
Yeah.
He hooked me up with some stem cells. He hooked me and my son up with stem cells. He came through like a motherfucker, you know. Brigham is the realist, like the realist, you know. And so I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out to him.
That's the dopest thing.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brigham.
Shout out to Brigham Bueller. But
Ways to well.
Ways to well all day.
I love that whole crew, that whole outfit he had.
No, he's incredible.
They're amazing.
He's just a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
You know, at the core of it. We talk about this, right? Like all these things, but where does it come down to, right? And the down to it is the core. Whether it's podcasting, to get your message out, to get other people's message out, art, whatever it is, it's that fucking thing, man. And Brigham has that thing.
Yeah.
He's got that thing.
Well, there's a reason. Good karma follows good people.
For sure. I want him all the success.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he exits for $8 trillion.
Me too.
And then I can just hang out on his yacht.
Well, that's a good one to parlay off of. I don't want to dwell on it. That was a very emotional period of your life, and I can't even imagine your son is okay today.
He's great.
Yeah.
It's kind of a joke in our house. I used to be, you know, I alluded to it. I used to be a big bad dude.
Yeah.
And I think he low-key aspired to be that. And now he's fully surpassed me. He'd whoop my ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a fucking beautiful Thor-looking beast. Yeah.
And your wife, she seems like a wonderful lady.
She's
putting up with you and two boys like
she's
you.
the gangster most gangster. You know. I mean, a prime example is that car accident. She was going from one room in the emergency room of, your husband may die, to another room on another floor of like, we're gonna try to let your son walk again. You know, and she was in this vortex.
Wow.
And she's incredible.
What's her name?
Shelby.
Shelby
is, and she took a backseat to me. You know, she took a backseat to me in life. Like, she let me pursue my dreams, and she raised our children. And she's far more talented than me. She's probably a better artist. She's definitely better at lifing.
Yeah.
She's smarter. She's all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And she just took a backseat. You know. So I,
Well, shout out to Shelby.
Shelby.
I was thinking, I've been doing a little bit more homework on artists since, I always try to do a fair job of preparing for whichever guest is going to come on. And I love it because it kind of like puts me in a crash course of learning about their industry. And typically I'll go in with an idea of what I want to study before the podcast, but it inevitably leads me down a rabbit hole where I end up following my own interests within that industry. And so I'm just kind of like going through different artists that I've heard the name before, but I haven't really figured them out. And one of them was Van Gogh. And so growing up, I've seen Van Gogh since I was a little kid. Van Gogh everywhere. Van Gogh. But I'm like, I don't get it. I don't understand what's so special about his art, right? But I never had that bone. I never was an artist. I never cared to learn about it or anything. But then now I'm older and I'm going through this, and it's like Van Gogh, and it talks about what the way he painted his art, and the reason it's so famous is because he'll paint something simple, a guy on a boat, right? And in the background always looked weird. It was like swirls, and it was like something weird. That's Van Gogh is known for that. Well, the background was why he became so famous. It wasn't the actual picture he was drawing. It was the scenery behind the person. He was drawing the energy of the moment. Like he was, so that's why it always looked weird, the stars and stuff like that. He tried to convey energy within the picture, so you didn't just see the picture, you felt the picture. You felt alive, or you felt
He was a
concerned.
master at it.
Yeah. And so, but it's funny, it's like one of those things, if you don't really know it until somebody tells you and you learn about it.
So I took a razor blade to this. So I did the summer tour poster for Kaleo, and I didn't know what to do, and I was like, well, I'll just fucking post it. I don't even care. And they're so into it. It was like, if you look at the detail of this, like it's like, this is an insane piece.
This one?
Yeah. Well, let me see. Yeah. Look zoom in. Like I'm doing.
You took a razor blade to this?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Because I felt like it was metal.
It was metal?
Yeah, man. That's
I don't
weird.
get it. Why would you?
I don't know. I just felt like
I love this. This is fucking amazing.
Fuck this piece. Fuck it.
Do you still have it?
Yeah, I got the original.
Can I have it?
You know what? You can.
Really?
No, I've got the original sitting there.
This is fucking badass, Anson.
Will you put it in? Look, zoom in on JJ's hand. This is my friend.
I want the razor blade cuts and everything.
No, I've got it taped on the back.
What do you mean you have taped on the back?
I had to tape it because it was shredded.
Which hands? This one?
Yeah, zoom in on here. Look, I'm just doing abstract shit. This is the minimalist stuff I'm trying to abstract.
Uh-huh.
Look, it's all fucking riffing.
Yeah, I like it.
Like, it's so rad to me. This is my favorite piece.
You cut it to shreds. Well, if it's your favorite piece, I don't want to take that from you. But
what's my favorite piece?
This is badass.
Right?
I love this. This reminds me of Tombstone.
So this is their 10-year anniversary of their AB album. That's a 10-year road.
Ah, I see.
They've been going down this winding road, and there's dark entities, the crows.
This is so cool.
This is
a great one.
And that's the shit I want to lean into. There's nothing realistic about that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Do you see your artwork evolving and changing as you get older?
Well, I'm saying this, Shawn. I would say that everything I'm doing is exploratory. And I don't it's cool in the moment, but I've got somewhere in my mind that I'm going, and I'm not there yet.
Can you talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's execution or I don't know what it is, but like I can see it. And it's not there yet. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
No, completely
it's weird.
Makes sense.
It's weird.
You're mastering your craft.
I'm trying, and I'm relatively new to it. Can I read you this? Can I read you this thing?
Well, what blows my mind is that you just started doing this.
That's the thing.
And this is the stuff you're coming up with. So this is the stuff that's going on in your mind.
Can I read something to you?
Sure.
I'm gonna put glasses on. Look, my glasses are on the back of my shirt.
I didn't even know you had glasses on the back of your shirt.
Like a dork.
All right. I'm getting old. I don't recognize things anymore. I used to.
I'm getting old.
I used to notice everything.
Okay, so I sent you that bio from Keegan, and I was trying to explain to him like there's something bigger going on here for me. I don't know what it is. I don't even know how important it is. I don't fucking know. But one of the artists, and I say artists that I admire, is Hemingway, and he's a writer.
Yeah. Key West.
Yeah. He's fucking gold.
6-toed cats.
He's bad as fuck.
I lived in Key West for 9 months.
No way.
Yeah. This fucker lived on a house on stilts out over the ocean for a long period of time. I can't remember how long it was, but he had a house. That's where he would go, completely secluded from the world, living on a house in the ocean, over the ocean, on stilts, so he could get some peace and quiet so he could write.
Shawn, how can I do that and pay the bills? How can I do that and pay the bills? Because that's what I'm going to do.
You have to treat it like a deployment.
Okay. Say that again. Like, what does that mean?
You have to treat it like a deployment, and you have to have a wife that understands.
I think Shelby understands.
Well, then you treat it like a deployment. You plan for it. You say, hey, this summer, when the kids are out of school, because so the kids can keep her occupied while you are in the lab cooking.
Yeah.
And you say, whatever it is, a cabin in the woods or a house on stilts over the water or whatever it is, you have to go find a place. I'm good. I got some. Thank you. You have to go find a place where you can get away. Because here's the thing is like men, this is what I'm learning too as I get older. Men need alone time.
100%. 100%.
You have to have this. And a lot of times men don't get enough of it. And I'm guilty of it too because I have separation anxiety from my past, my childhood growing up. And that's a long story. We'll get into that another time. But like I have reasons that I get upset, if I'm alone for too long or something like that. But the older I get, the more that these layers peel away from me. And I realize that it's important to be alone.
Yeah.
Even if it sucks, it's important because some of my greatest ideas that I've ever come up with, like the idea for this legacy podcast, I came up when I was alone. I had time to sit with my own thoughts and I didn't have distractions. And it's not distractions like people that annoy me. I love these people. I love everybody in my life, my friends, my family. I love all of them. But even still, you need time to your own thoughts without distractions, without video games, without movies, without cell phones, without, and so whatever it is, if I was an artist, if I was you, what I would do is I would dedicate 1 month at least. And I would dedicate this month every single year. That way it's like the whole family knows about it. This is when dad does his thing. This is where dad's going. We know he's safe. He'll check in with us at the end of the night, every night. And just go. Just disappear. Be lost in your own thoughts, in your own solitude. And to me, I think that's fine because 1 month is nothing crazy.
No. In the big scheme of things.
Soldiers go on deployments for like Navy soldiers on ships, they're on deployment for 12 to 16 months sometimes. Wow. Imagine. So 1 month. Yeah. Come on, ladies.
Come on, ladies. No, I hear you, man. And, by the way, this legacy podcast that's super fucking rad, man. Like, you've already got this thing you're killing, and you're already forward thinking. Like,
well, I want to leave something lasting. I want to, and it's not an arrogant thing. It's just like, I want to do something that's remembered, something that's going to go down in the books. I want to do something that's like remembered for history. 1,000 years from now, I want people to go back and look at this podcast with Melvin. I'm going to post this podcast on Friday. It'll probably get maybe 100 views. Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to blink an eye. And I'm fine with that. I accept that.
Yeah.
You're
not doing it for the gram.
But what I realize is that this little podcast that's only going to get 100 views today, 1,000 years from now is going to get billions of views, trillions maybe, because they're going to use it. They're going to study this. It's going to be a case study of what life was like in 2026.
Well, and even if it changes,
that fascinates me.
Even if it changes one person's life, I get a lot of people want to tell me how to do my Instagram, or you should do like, videos where you're processed or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Like, I'm not doing it for that. Like, I don't know. Like my work is either going to stand for itself or it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And, I feel that with your podcast, like you're doing this shit for the right fucking reasons. Of, you love it. You love talking to people. You love learning. It's all about that human experience, right? That's it. That's it. That's fucking it, man. Because, we're going to take off our fucking headphones and you're going to go your way and I'm going to go my way.
Yeah.
But this will last.
Yeah.
It'll last a minute.
Yeah.
This
is what we talked about before we started. This is going into battle together. This is war.
It is, man.
It's putting yourself out there as being vulnerable, right? And accepting that some people are going to talk shit. Some people are not going to be able to identify with you, and being okay with that. You know, that's the scariest thing people have in this world is like being rejected.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not until you start to put yourself out there that you realize really how strong you are, and that it doesn't fucking matter. I don't care. Why did I put so much this importance on somebody else's that I don't even give a fuck about their opinion, you know? And it's just like, nah, how about we just do whatever the fuck we want? And then if they don't like it, they can fuck off. And if they love it, then sweet, we found our tribe.
You know, I did that first gallery event I did when I got serious about this. There was an artist, his name's Xander Rudd. Shout out Xander Rudd. Starts with an X.
Your camera's over there, bud.
Xander Rudd. Xander Rudd. There it is. I don't even know where I'm at. Xander Rudd.
That was awesome.
He he's been doing art for a while. He's an amazing artist. And he was like, hey man, how's it going at this gallery event? And I was like, well, I have a bit of imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, well, welcome to the club. He goes, I've been doing this 20 years, and I still have imposter syndrome.
What a badass thing to tell a young artist.
Yeah, you know what's funny? He's probably younger than me, but he's just been doing it over this last 20 years. And he's amazing, and he's incredible. Xander Rudd. But he was like, this is my, 900th show, and I still have imposter syndrome. And I was like, it felt so good to me to feel like I'm not like crazy, I'm not crazy. I'm just going to do this. And again, I keep falling back on it. I'm not doing it for money. The goal with this is to where I could do this, Shawn, and not have to do anything else. To where I can just sustain my family, pay my bills. I don't care if I got a little spot in Europe, in Spain, wherever it is, and, pay my rent. But I wake up the next day and I just can create, because I got a lot inside of me. And
what is it about Spain that draws you to it? I know you guys, on your website, it says you guys try to summer there.
Yeah, we've, my wife and I have a wanderlust. And, she was kind of raised all over. She was born in California, raised in Arizona, met me in Texas. And I've got a friend that I grew up with that married a guy, and she moved to Mallorca, Spain. And she's amazing. Her name's Paula. And my wife and her are really connected, and they're more friends now than we are. And we just started going to there, 5 or 6 years ago. And now it's like, man, that European culture is just that slow pace, that not needing a car, that...
Yeah, that's how it is in Spain. Everybody rides on the trains.
Yeah, there's just something romanticized about it in our heads. I know it's not perfect. I know America's amazing. I love America. I love Texas. I love where I was raised up. But I think there's alternative things, and I don't want to be stagnant. The worst thing for me as an artist is, Shawn, for you to say, that was amazing, you should do that again. Oh, bro. Like, I'm trying to move on to the next thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be identified as something. And whether that be through the art or as a human or whatever.
Ever evolving.
I just want to keep you guessing, keep you guessing. And not because you could say, man, Anson, you're the fucking greatest guy in the whole world because of X, Y, Z. And that's offensive to me. I want to be something you haven't even thought of.
I like that.
You know what I mean? Like I want to, I don't know. Is that weird?
No, it's fucking badass.
Is that weird?
No.
Yeah, just be something.
It is different from societal norm, right?
Yeah.
But society's kind of boring.
It's super. I'm going to lean in. It's super boring. To me,
It's so predictable.
I'm so fucking bored. Because of the things we talked about, the societal restraints that we been put upon. And
it's a structure that they built for us to live in.
It is, and I don't know how else to escape it, other than this art thing I'm fucking doing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do the fucking art thing. We showed that poster. I'm doing something really cool.
You got anything you can show us?
Nothing to show you necessarily, but something to tell you. My friend JJ, who is Icelandic, and he is the lead singer of the band Kaleo, which every single one of your listeners has heard of his songs.
Should we play something?
Yeah, Way Down We Go.
Way Down We Go.
Play it.
So that's what this picture was based off of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Play this. He's a massive international artist.
If you sit down, push, and only a little poop comes out, you have what doctors call a poop court. The Mayo Clinic.
I gotta leave that in now.
Leave it in.
Oh, this is your friend?
Do we get what we deserve? Oh, we get.
Let's just listen.
Oh,
Because it's beautiful.
This is an amazing song. It's on my playlist.
And way down we go, 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 go. Oh, way down we go, 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 go. So way down we go, 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 go.
That's wild.
Way down we go.
By playing this, they're gonna take all the monetization.
Whoa, you let your feet run wild. Thomas, Comas, we all go down. Yeah, but for the folk who my, do you dare to look them right in the eye?
There's last week.
Oh, cause they
Can you
will
get
run
him on the
you
podcast?
down
Yeah.
to the
Really?
We'll be in Austin.
yeah, someday we run
It's
you
beautiful.
down.
Get both of you on.
And they will run you down till you go, yeah, till you can't grow.
I can't wait to tell you what we're doing.
And where down we go, 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 go. Oh, where down we go, go, go. Say where down we go.
Dude, this is badass.
Cause they
keep
will
going.
run you down to your car. Oh, way down we go.
only tapped.
Way down we
I've
go.
only tapped.
Okay.
I'll keep going.
Okay.
As long as you
we
want.
can do more
Way
of these too.
down we go. So way down we go. Ooh,
I've only tapped, brother.
way down we go.
Let's do a bunch of these.
Beautiful.
You're goddamn fucking badass.
Thank you.
American
brother. You're
badass.
fucking badass too.
You're American badass. Hey, I almost wore it.
I don't even know what that means.
Hey, listen. It just means what it means.
Yeah.
You're just a fucking bad motherfucker.
I think there's cool fucking people in this world. Like that dude is a cool motherfucker. Like did he write that song? I hope he wrote it.
Yeah.
He wrote that song.
He wrote a song.
Created something that's just like so you can feel that fucking song. And whatever it means to you is what it means to you. But you know what I mean? Like everybody feels that in a different way.
It
Kind of like
hits.
art.
It hits. You know, we were in, my family and I were in Madrid this summer.
Is that
And-
where he lives?
No, he's from Iceland.
Oh, that's okay.
So he lives in Iceland half the time. He's traveling all over the world for shows, but he lives Nashville, Iceland are kind of his main spots. But we were in Madrid this past summer, my family and I, and he came over and stayed with us, and he was like, "Yeah, I wrote this song." His dad was like a Spanish translator, and he's like, "I wrote all the pretty girls sitting under a tree." You know, it was like a teenager. And I'm like, God damn, man. All the Pretty Girls is a big hit. You know, if you look it up, like that's like a fucking amazing song.
And he got that inspiration from Spain?
He did, sitting under a tree as a teenager, looking at all the pretty girls.
Wow.
Writing a song, you know, and he's a beautiful human being. JJ, shout out. Yeah, he's just amazing.
That's crazy. You've lived a crazy life.
I got a weird dichotomy of friends.
Good word, dichotomy. I like that.
I don't know if it was apropos, but
So back to my question, what's scarier to you? Somebody that praises you or somebody that rejects you? Our days are packed. Podcast, travel, training, and Jen's always in the shop, grinding and working around metal. We're constantly exposed to stuff in the air, in what we touch, just day-to-day life. And even if you're a little off, you feel it. So we keep things simple. Train hard, eat clean, stay consistent. And we use Masterpiece Zeolite as part of that routine. Zeolite is known for binding to certain unwanted compounds, helping the body process and clear things out more efficiently. For us, it's about staying clear-headed, keeping our energy up, and not letting that daily exposure slow us down. Nothing overcomplicated, just something that helps us stay on point no matter how hard we're pushing. If you want to check it out, go to masterpiece.health and use code Shawn.
rejects for sure.
Why is that?
You know, I did a piece recently and I thought it was just amazing. In my fucked up mind, whatever it is, I thought this is it. This is like the best fucking thing I've ever done. And my wife and my son, and they were both like, "Meh."
Oh no.
They're like, "Meh." They're like, "Well, you know."
That's so close to home.
Yeah, it was like, I'm sitting there going, "Man, this is like Picasso." And they're like, "Well," and you know, my takeaway is that you got to listen, right? You got to listen to that.
Yeah.
And they're probably not wrong. For whatever reason, it didn't translate.
What's the piece? Can we put it up?
No, not yet.
Okay.
It was the commission piece that, and I thought it was great. I thought it was fucking great.
Uh-huh.
And they were like, well, you know, there's elements that are phenomenal. And I thought, you know, because I'm so early in this process, I thought every piece gets better.
Mm-hmm.
Like if it doesn't, like if every piece doesn't get better, I'm losing ground.
Yeah.
And I thought this one, there was the elements, and there was the elements of this where you're like, oh fuck, like that's legit.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, it wasn't speaking to them, and I get it. I get it. I have to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
You know.
I never want to speak for Jen, but I think she would be okay with me talking about this. But she's about to completely get away from commissions altogether because of that.
Interesting. Tell me more.
So she made this guy commissioned her. Probably should not talk too much about that. But basically, she did a commission for somebody, and he was not happy with it. And she did, I mean, this thing is fucking phenomenal.
It's 10 out of 10.
And this guy was not okay with it. And it was because the dimensions weren't just fucking perfect, right? And she had to remind him, she goes, you know, this is not a replica. This isn't dipped. This isn't casted and dipped and just like an exact replica. This is my artwork. This is my rendition of that. Yeah. And this thing was like, if I set them side by side in front of you, you might notice as an artist, but the 99% of the world would be like, it's perfect. It's exactly the same. But I guess this dude was out there with like a tape measure, and he was like, this is so many centimeters off.
Exactly
and,
right,
you know,
yeah.
and he just a total, you know, about it. And at that moment, I remember it because that hit her, like as an artist, when somebody's like rejects your artwork.
Really? I get that.
Yeah. And so, like, she had this realization moment where she's like, I don't want to do commissions anymore. I don't want to do something that somebody else is. It's like wasting your life. You know what I mean? You only have so many art pieces. You have a finite number of art pieces that you're going to do in your lifetime. She has a finite number of art pieces she's going to do in her lifetime. Okay? Give it a number. 300, 3,000, whatever it is. Okay? If you do something for somebody else's vision, you've X'd off an opportunity that you could have created something from your imagination, from your soul. And now that time is wasted because you did this for that person.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. And so
it's that emotional aspect of it. You're like, hey man, I'm giving it my all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you're trying to please somebody else instead of pleasing you, instead of pleasing your soul, your brain. Because here's the thing, if you make something from the heart, right? And if it doesn't sell, nobody likes it, who gives a fuck?
Who cares?
It's yours. That's your baby.
I did that shit.
Yeah. And you keep it for yourself because it means something to you.
Well, it's very subjective to your point earlier, you know. There's a weird thing with art of that line of you're doing it for yourself and you do it for somebody else. And it keeps getting grayer as the days go on. I love that water right now.
This is one of my two sponsors right here, Grizzly Coolers, man.
Oh.
I fucking love these guys. Jake Powers, I met him at Winterstrong.
Shout out.
Yeah. Jake Powers is one of the nicest fucking human beings on earth. And Grizzly Coolers, they're all American made, baby. God bless them. God bless everybody in the factory doing their job. I fucking love Grizzly Coolers, honestly. It's the all American version of Yeti.
They got the great American water. Water's great.
Water's amazing. You know what's better? Coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And beer.
Coffee's so good. And beer.
Beer's so fucking fattening now. I can't. The older I get, I'm like, fuck.
I feel bloated all the time.
It's the beer, man. You drink beer?
I do.
Yeah, it's the beer.
Of course.
Hey, tell me, you're in the People's Artists.
I am.
We haven't talked about this.
Yeah.
Jen's also into people's artists. You guys are in different groups.
Yeah.
Do you know how many groups there is in this thing?
I do not.
Nobody knows anything about this.
No, it feels a little sketch. But I will say this. And Jim may have said the same thing. Like, I keep progressing. You're like, oh, you're in top 20, you're in top 15, you're in top 10. And that's amazing. Like, the alternative, Shawn, is for Jen and I is this. Like, if social media is weird, but like, what's the alternative? Like, standing on the corner bussing, for 200 people. Or I can post something and like 2,000 people see it in my limited bullshit.
Well, here's the crazy thing. Millions of people are seeing this competition.
Yeah, millions of people are seeing it.
I'm going to pull it up here. Audience that hasn't even heard of this thing. So
I feel like I'm in first, but is that real? I don't know.
So this is a competition. It's called the People's Artist Competition, and it's presented by Johnny Depp. I don't know if he has a hand in the creation of it or if he's just like the spokesperson, the face of it. But I'll go ahead and play this for you here. For reference, Anson is in a specific group, and each group, I think it started with like 50 artists or something like that, and it's whittled down to the top 15, I think, at this point. So Anson is first in his group, Jen's in another group separate from his, but they can't see each other. The groups can't see each other, and Jen's in second place in her group. But this thing's being put on by Johnny Depp, and it's become quite a conversation, actually, because a lot of people are complaining because in this competition, you can basically, so each window, right? So right now it's the top 15, and it'll go to the top 10 and top 5 and then top number 1 or whatever it is. But each one, there's rounds of voting, and you can do free vote. If you do a free vote where you don't pay money, you get 1 vote. But if you pay money, you get a certain number of votes, right? So for like Jen, if I pay $50, I get 250 votes for my $50 that I'm paying, because you're donating this money to a charity that's chosen by this company that put this on. But a lot of people, they don't like it because they weren't getting enough votes. I guess they dropped in rankings and then they fell out. And so now they're dedicating their days to doing videos, TikTok videos and Instagram videos, just shitting on what a piece of shit this thing is, and how this is all rigged. And a true art competition shouldn't have paid votes. It's not fair. Okay. And I feel for them, but at the same time, it's like, you knew what you were doing when you signed up for this. There was no, unless you didn't read the directions properly,
right,
then you knew what you signed up for. And you only started complaining when you fell out of the rankings, right? And some people, oh, I was in first and I fell out because this is bullshit. Really? I mean, we'll see. I don't know. But this is Johnny Depp, and this is his intro to it.
There is a strange kind of magic in the way that artists see the world. And art doesn't confine itself to neat little boxes, and nor should the creator. Art is everywhere, always. We would like to invite you to be a part of the People's Artist, which is a celebration to support your creative vision and talents. So the winner, by vote, will be welcomed into the creative world of the Art of Elysium, will be featured in Art Forum, and will receive $25,000. So on behalf of a charity that is very dear to me, the Art of Elysium, good luck and thanks for the support.
The first thing I thought of when he's like, they will be given $25,000. I was picturing that old commercial with that old guy, and he's got the fishing pole with the $1 bill. He's like, I got $1. Like $25,000 of these people is fucking nothing. They spend that on a dinner.
Yeah, no doubt. And I saw this, and I woke up one morning and I saw it, and I was very new, Shawn, to trying to put my art out there. you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, I put it out there or whatever. And I saw this and I was like, oh, that's cool.
Oh,
And
why not?
Yeah.
Something different.
Yeah, and I submitted a profile. And I literally did not think about it. And they were like, a month later, they're like, hey, you've been selected to be in the top 20 or whatever. I was like, that's amazing. You know, I mean, yeah, like, oh, very honored. And then people were voting, and I was like, well, you know, I think I'm doing well. And then it was like top 15, and you know, it's like top 10. And I'm like, I don't really know, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know, like, it's an amazing opportunity. I think if I can get to the top of this, there's awesome artists out there. I don't like comparing myself to other artists. You know what I mean? Like,
Something feels weird about it.
yeah, like I think I'm a pretty good artist, and this person's a pretty good artist too.
Does it bother you that people can pay for votes?
I mean, it's an added element, right? Of like, well,
But does it bother you?
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I get it. It's like capitalism. It's like the world we live in.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's cool. I think it's super fucking cool.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of amazing artists in it. You know, if someone that deals with steel and fabricates shit out of the raw, like, they should win. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing though. It's not. I mean, I hope she wins, but
She should.
It's like we were talking about earlier. It's the value of your art is solely based on the person that sees it and
I
determines.
hope they see it. I hope they see it.
Right now, the guy that's in first, he paints. He's very talented. He paints, but very strange things. It's like orangutans on like ice glaciers floating in, like, you know,
That's
on one of the
weird.
pole caps. You know, like it's very odd, but it's quality. It's you know, very good stuff, and it's, you know, like a orangutan from the forest on a glacier, just like, what's up? You know, it's just like,
It's weird, but who's to say?
yeah.
You know, who knows? Like, I mean, you know, you
You don't know what identifies with people though. You know, everybody's different.
especially today, it's like, fuck, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's 2026. There's so many things. I don't know.
Have you ever had a piece of art that you made that you hated but other people loved?
Yes. There was the piece when I started fucking with charcoal, like early. I did this cowboy rendition. I'll try to send it to you.
I love this piece. I don't know why. I was a big fan of Tombstone.
I was like, you know, this is kind of cool. And then people responded to it. Like, even after I did like way bigger
Mm-hmm.
pieces. And so when the Kaleo poster came around,
This one?
yeah. So you see that? That's like day 2 of me fucking with charcoal.
Oh, really? Wow.
No, literally. That's like I was like, I should fuck with charcoal. Look at some of the, again, like the internal.
I like how you do alternating color schemes where it's like white face with a black body and then black face with a white body.
And I don't know where that comes from. But then if you go to the Kaleo piece, like, I think I sent it to you. Yeah, so if you zoom in on that, there's elements of that I'm tapping into. Because of the response. People are like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah. I think it's cool as shit. I like this, how this guy's head's cocked right here. Like these guys are all about business, and then this guy's like, "Nah, I'm just here to play a guitar." And it looks like he's riding on a donkey.
Well, it was like, well, let's get weird with this.
Why not?
Because they said, we want to do a concert poster.
There's this photo I got sucked into earlier today. It's called the Stanzik painting. It's a famous painting. There's a story behind it that makes it very interesting. But this is it right here.
That's sick.
And at first glance, you're like, the colors are striking, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder. So basically, back at this time, this is a French painting, and this artist was trying to deliver a message to the world that he couldn't obviously say publicly, but he wanted to project it in this painting. And it just, at first glance, it just looks like a jester deep in thought away from the party. But when you break this down, and this guy did a great job, I should have saved the video, but he broke this down, and really, he was trying to send a message where here's the party going on in the background, and you see royalty partying, right? And this is like a dwarf has a bag full of something that was it was like a symbol of something during that time. I can't remember what it was. And then here on this table, you see this piece of paper. This is actually like a letter. So this jester had just read this letter. So imagine a royal party is going on, king and queen, and all the royal court is out there just partying, having a good time. And this letter gets delivered from somebody on a horse, a messenger on a horse. And the jester steps away from the party, reads this. And really what it was is this was a period of downfall for the French country at the time. And he was trying to convey how the royal family did not take it seriously, but the fall of France was well underway at this point, and the royal family still partied and they didn't give a shit, or they didn't convey the feelings of the people who were proud of that country. And so this was his way of speaking for the people that didn't have a voice. And so, he's wearing all red. The party is in red. There's this very dark background, the letter on the table. Like it's all specifically designed. Like you can see the expression on his face. It's not anger. It's not sadness. It's a very unique face that you recognize when somebody's making that face. It's like a face of despair. Yeah. And it's like, where do we go from here? Why doesn't nobody fucking care? And so here's the party in the background. They don't give a shit. Right. So
That's
it's like
incredible.
Yeah, it's an amazing photo. It's called the Stanzik. And it stands for the sad clown, I think I want to say. And it's indicative of what we see today, where you see so many people that, red, white, and blue, they are patriots. We grew up believing the shit that they fed us, right? And then you see all of that wash away in a matter of less than 10 years. You see the world change right before your eyes. And you see leaders that made all these promises that don't live up to those promises, and then act like they don't even give a fuck. Yeah. When everything they fed you for the last 20 years was a crock of shit. And now, so this face I recognize because I saw this on the face of so many of my patriots, right around COVID, lockdowns, rioting in the streets, the
zoom in on that.
The Capitol and how it was the greatest tragedy, the Capitol tour that people walked around and didn't steal anything, didn't break anything, and so, yeah.
That's incredibly inspiring.
Yeah.
Like
this is art.
Like
right there.
I'm looking at it from multi angles. Like you're skilled. Mm-hmm. Like you're just skilled. The little details. But then to be able to capture that moment. Mm-hmm.
The random object on the floor.
Yeah, that's. I'm not there yet. I would love to be there. I would love
Yeah.
for someone to look at a piece of mine and then look at the background.
Yeah. Well, it's making a statement because it's his job to be in a party. It's his job. And, there's this whole thing with clowns and jesters where their job is to make other people happy and laugh and have a good time. But it's like, can a clown make himself? Can a clown turn his own self around? Right.
Yeah.
And so there's this
It's
thing.
multi-layered.
Yeah. And so whatever is going on in this clown's head or this jester's head is something that he can't brighten his day.
You picked an amazing piece. You have an eye.
Yeah. Well,
Like, you have an eye.
I got lucky, I think.
No, you have an eye. I feel that way about music. Like, I feel like I have the most amazing taste in music,
Oh, I'll show you. If you like this one, I'm going to show you this other one I found.
but I have
think
no
it's-
musical ability.
This is a crazy fucking photo right here.
In 1871, Hughes Merrill unveiled a deeply evocative masterpiece titled The Lunatic of Etretat. This painting captures the raw emotion and complexity of the human psyche, set against the backdrop of the rugged cliffs of Etretat, a coastal town in Normandy, France.
France.
The artwork
again.
depicts a solitary figure, seemingly lost in thought or gripped by inner turmoil. Merle's masterful brushwork brings to life the intricate play of light and shadow, emphasizing the contrast between the serene landscape and the tumultuous state of the central character.
All
The figure's disheveled appearance, distant gaze, and the dramatic setting all hint at a narrative of isolation, mental anguish, and perhaps societal alienation. Merle's choice of subject and setting invites viewers to reflect on the thin line between sanity and madness, and the societal perceptions of those who tread that line. The Lunatic of Etretat stands as a poignant commentary on the human condition, challenging viewers to confront their own perceptions and biases.
So real
Wow.
quick for the viewers that aren't watching, that are listening in their
Wow.
vehicle or whatever. So this woman is sitting on the edge of a water well, where you dip, you lower the bucket to get water and you come back up. And there's a forest behind her. She's sitting on the edge of this well. She's, ragged, torn apart clothing, and she has a piece of log that's probably about 2 feet long, wrapped in a blanket with a baby's bonnet over the top of it. It's one of the creepiest
Insane.
things you can imagine, and she's got this look on her face. It looks like anger, or like, imagine if you were absolutely crazy and you're like, fuck you, I don't care if you think I'm crazy. That's the look, and the stare. She got this crazy look in her eye. That's what. And in Japanese culture, you see this white under their eyes. That was like this. Whoever this artist is very, very well versed in culturals, because that white under her eyes. That's a very ominous statement that he made by showing the white. Like in Japanese cultures or Asian cultures, if they showed the white under their eyes or above their eyes in paintings, it was supposed to be like a warning, like ominous, like careful treading here kind of thing.
It's crazy, what I'm looking at. I talked about it earlier. It's those little details. Yeah, because this artist, he made decisions, and every single fucking detail is a decision. Yeah.
Speak on it. What do you see?
Well, you're looking at it and you're going, that's incredible. It's a woman holding a baby in this distraught manner. But like, I'm looking at the pink bonnet, or like what you were talking about, the light under the eye or the light on the nose. Like, the artist had to sit there and put that down. He had to put that light down. He had to put that pink down.
Mm-hmm. Look at the gripped finger.
That's everything. Like, go back to the hand. Go back to the hand. you know,
I'm doing a bad job. Let me go back.
No, you're
I'm gonna
good.
find a better picture that doesn't.
no,
move.
you're good. I mean, it's like every fucking detail
There you go.
that doesn't stand out in the original. You
Look
know,
at the veins in her arm.
yeah,
in her
that
hands.
little subtlety of vein,
Yeah.
that little crinkle in their fist.
Yeah.
that-
Look at the gripped
Yeah,
fingernail.
that doesn't just appear, Shawn. That artist like had to make that decision. It's all about decisions.
Yep.
The hair. There was a moment where he was like, I promise. There was a moment where he was like, well, I should put some hair flowing out. And he's like, it's already so great. Should I do that?
Yeah.
And he made a choice
Well,
to fucking take the,
yeah.
you know,
What I noticed is the red in her eyes. So I guess back when he painted this originally, this is I guess everybody just labeled it as a crazy woman.
right.
She was just a crazy loony
Yeah.
path.
Yeah.
Because at the time, this is what they just cast things aside. So it's a painting of a crazy woman. But now, like looking forward, he was sending so many messages with this, and this wasn't really about her as a crazy woman. It was a statement to what was going on in France at the time, where the country was falling apart under this tyrannical, ridiculous
yeah.
royal family or
Yeah.
families that were tearing this country apart. And, women would lose kids to diseases and famine and war. And this is like a statement to, this was the voice that the people didn't have,
Yeah.
like this is,
What a
what makes
fucking statement.
this is art right here. This is something that's, will go down. This is, this many hundreds of years later, this is us talking about this piece of art. That's fucking art. Like
That's it.
You're delivering a message that I'm doing this like my legacy podcast. I'm doing this knowing it's not going to be important now. Maybe it's cool. People are going to be like, yeah, that's awesome. Great idea. But when it's really going to hit home is generations later when somebody's going through their bloodline and going, "Whoa, shit. I got 20 fucking bloodlines to go through, man." That's cool. Like that to me, that's why I'm doing that.
When you're clearly doing it, I mean, that's what it's all about. It's, for me anyway, I hope that what I'm doing is important one day. It's hard to,
Yeah.
what was that artist's mindset? I'd love to know.
He
Was he just
painted this in 1871.
Yeah, was that artist just like, I'm painting something I see. I'm painting something that I hope people for centuries remember. What was his mindset?
Nothing he painted was similar to this. That's what was crazy. This was
Interesting.
an oddball picture. Like, so most of the stuff that this artist painted, and what was his name again? Hughes Merle, Merle. And this is called The Lunatic of Etretat, 1871. But I'm curious what was going on.
Long after the French Revolution.
ChatGPT, shout out to ChatGPT. In 1871 in France was absolute chaos. It was one of the most violent and politically unstable years in French history. A few massive things all collided at once. Number one, France had just lost a brutal war in Prussia. This was the end of the Franco-Prussian War. Napoleon III got captured, the French Empire collapsed, Prussia and the German states united into the German Empire. France lost territory, Alsace and part of Lorraine. Paris was starving during a long siege by Prussian forces. This defeat humiliated France and completely reshaped Europe. Number two, Paris basically erupted into revolution. After the war, regular people in Paris were furious at the government. That led to the Paris Commune. For about 2 months, Radical workers and revolutionaries took control of Paris. They tried to create a new kind of socialist government. They pushed ideas like workers' rights, separation of church and state, public education reforms, and more democratic control. To conservatives across Europe, this looked terrifying. To revolutionaries, it looked like the future. Number 3, then came the massacre. That's a hell of a title. The French government fled to Versailles and eventually sent the army back into Paris. The result was the Bloody Week in May of 1871. Thousands of communards were executed in the streets, imprisoned, or deported. Estimates vary wildly, but somewhere around 10,000 to 20,000 people may have died during the crackdown. It became one of the defining symbols of class warfare and government repression in European history. Number 4, France became the Third Republic. Out of all this destruction came the beginning of the French Third Republic. That government would last until World War II. So 1871 was basically the collapse of an empire, a humiliating military defeat, a revolutionary uprising, a near civil war, and the birth of modern republic in France, all packed into 1 year.
That's it?
Visually, Paris in 1871 looked like barricades in the streets, burned buildings, artillery firing into the cities, starving civilians, political executions, and revolutionary flags hanging from rooftops. It's one of the reasons late 1800s Europe became obsessed with revolution, socialism, nationalism, and political extremism afterwards.
Wow.
So that is what inspired this photo.
That picture makes a lot of sense now.
And this is why this woman is holding a log.
She's like, the fuck?
Yeah.
The fuck?
All the bullshit you blew up our asses is all wrong. Fuck
What
you.
the fuck?
Yeah. All the shit that they fed the public is
What did
bullshit.
that like pre-Instagram mind think?
Good question.
You know, was she like, what is she thinking? What is that woman thinking?
And what did the average person? So we're lucky nowadays. We have Instagram. We have our own identities online. Where if you feel a certain way, you can post pictures or you can reshare things that tell the world how you feel. Back then, they didn't have any of that shit.
No, she's sitting there alone with a child. What is she thinking? It's kind of like a dog, and I hate to say that, but like I've got a couple dogs, and they're in the moment. You know, in the moment, like, you know, what'd you do for me 30 seconds ago? What can you do for me 30 seconds from now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just not she's not worried about, like, any of the shit we're worried about. This woman in this picture.
Yeah.
She's just in the moment. Dogs are in the moment.
Yeah.
We were in the moment as people, like.
Yeah, I think every artist has a defining painting or piece of art that they do that's
incredible.
Out of the norm.
I aspire to that, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can ever do that. I mean, I want to do that. That's an unknown artist. And I'm like, I aspire to be that.
I'm going to show you, I got to show some of the other paintings that this guy did so you get an idea. But the majority of it is it's all females, surprisingly. But it's all happy. It's just,
It's maternal. Everyone's maternal.
Yeah.
Look, a child. Like, look at that. Everyone is like.
But they're all pretty happy for the most part.
Yeah, holding the child.
Or
because
neutral.
That's like their thing.
Everyday life. And that's what was crazy about this one he did. He's like, yeah, no.
Look at that. Did he have subject matters?
I don't know. I'm sure, a lot of these look like they was commissioned to do pieces.
Wow. That's awesome.
Very cool, though.
I don't know if there's anybody doing art like that today, myself included.
What do you think about the way art's changed, especially with the social media and artificial intelligence?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is catered towards the gram. You know, I said there's plenty of artists that I love and respect, and their work stands on its own, but there's a ton that just are good at Instagram.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm like, look at their work, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, you're just like good at doing a video.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be that. I just want to be, I think my art will stand on its own, whatever that is, and go from there.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine, we were in a conversation about this, not about art, but the topic of whether or not you're doing enough to get to the next level.
Yeah.
And he had a very interesting point. He's from Vietnam, and he was telling me, he goes, if you're aligned, like spiritually, if you're balanced mentally and you're doing everything for the right reasons, he's like, you don't have to go push. He goes, everything will come to you.
Yeah.
Those people come to you.
Mm.
And he was just dead serious about it. And I just cannot forget that. Like, you know, he was, and I wonder if he's right, you know, because how many times in your life has somebody came into your life at the strangest time and you don't know why, but it led to this, which led to that, which led to this.
All
right?
of it. All of it.
All of it.
Every person in my life is there for a reason.
And it's always when you weren't even expecting it. You
No.
weren't trying for it to happen. The greatest things in my life have happened when I did something not expecting anything in return.
Yeah.
When I did something because I was trying to get something, I got the opposite, or I didn't get it at all. You know, and I'm like, I just wasted my time. It's always when I'm doing something just to do it because other people recommended it, or, you know, whatever, that I find something that actually impacts my life.
Well, you talked about it off air. I mean, this podcast. You were like, I'm doing this because I love it.
Yeah.
Not because I care about the views or any of that. Like, you're just like, I just enjoy talking to people. I enjoy learning. And I felt that.
Yeah.
I felt that. That's why I'm sitting here right now, because I know that your, you know, true agenda is just, you want to talk to different people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm an artist in Austin, Texas. It's kind of cool.
It is cool.
But you just want to learn about different things, you know?
Yeah.
And
that's
why I know this podcast is legit.
Well, you know what I love? I love that I have like a dozen faithful followers out there that no matter what podcast I put, they watch it.
Yeah.
And I always know because it's the same ones. It's like as soon as I post something, it's like 8 views, 12 views. You know what I mean? It's like the same ones. And it's like they found me early on, and for whatever reason, they were drawn to this platform or me or my guest or whatever it was. And they were always commenting on it. It's the same ones that comment every time. And so, like, to me, it's like, I do this for them. I don't care if I'm 80 years old and I'm putting out content and I just have those same dozen like dudes that were with me or chicks or whatever they are that decided that I had something for them. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, clearly.
Like, so shout out to those fucking people. Like,
love those people. I mean, you know, they get it. They get it. They get it. They just fucking get it. And, you know, I know it's real. You don't care. You're doing this for the right reasons.
yeah.
I'd like to think that I'm doing the thing that I'm doing for the right reasons. And you question yourself all the time.
True.
Right?
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah, man, is this right? Am I doing, you know, I spend a lot of energy into this. But if you enjoy doing it, keep doing it. Like, it's bringing you joy. Me sitting down at a fucking easel with no idea of what I'm going to do next, that's fun to me, you know? And
that's exciting. Can you
It's
imagine if everything you did had to be pre-planned and somebody picked it out for you?
No.
Be kind of boring.
I can't do it. You know, my wife, bless her heart, she's an amazing person. She's like, you should do this, you should do that. I'm like, no. I'll know when I know. You know, it's hard to explain. It's probably frustrating to people around you, but it's everything. It's fucking everything.
Yeah.
You know, that's it.
Okay. Well, that's a good one to end on. I'm going to ask you one last question that I've been waiting to close on.
Yeah.
And it's a good one to parlay off of what we just talked about.
Yeah.
When you're gone, because we all have to cross those gates eventually, when you're gone and people are looking at your artwork, just as we have looked at these, what do you want them to see in you as the artist? What would you hope that people see in you as the artist that originally painted those photos? Say it's 500 years from now.
That's a great question. I think that, you know, as it pertains to the art, I just want them to know that it was a guy that was trying to navigate this fucking weird world and was able to look at something or think about something and put it down and hope that it resonated in some way, whether it inspired a kid, whether it inspired a 46-year-old that was like thought about his, you know, former self. I just want it to matter. I want them to look at it and like be like, man, that was cool. That was cool, man. Like you're skilled, but that was fucking cool. You know, it's not like a real necessarily deeper thing. It was just like, bro, you saw that and like you translated that and that's skilled and that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, and it made me talk to my mom more, or it made me talk to my best friend more, or it made me talk to my son more, or whoever. I just want to connect people, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's all about connection. And whatever form that is. Like if I can spark something at the fucking basic thing, like, oh shit, that was fucking cool. Then I've done my job. You know, I'm a grain of sand, right? We all are. We're grains of sand. So I don't want to put like too much importance on what I'm doing. But like I hope to maximize my fucking grain of sand. You know?
I like that.
Yeah, man. Like let's we got one shot. I got one shot at what we know. You know, there's a ton of shit we don't know. We talked about that. But like on this planet, on this rock spiraling through fucking space that I'm told I've got one shot. So I'm going to maximize it and for good, you know? And
Yeah.
I hope that somebody one day, I hope, you know, 100 years from now, some kid's like, oh, I fucking love that. I'm going to draw.
Yeah.
That's all that fucking matters to me.
Yeah.
That would be fucking rad.
Well, what we're doing right now, like the Legacy podcast I told you about, like that's cool. But all of this recorded stuff we're putting on the internet, this will be recorded for history. People, scholars will study this.
Yeah, man.
The crazy thing, even the weirdest, smallest little podcast out there, it's like all this stuff we're doing, we're living in the moment. We're living in this like bubble, and we don't think about past and future, and you know, we don't think about 10,000 years from now because we can't even comprehend what it would be like. So we live in these artificial bubbles that we've created, and these Starbucks and these McDonald's and all this shit. But it's like someday the population on this planet is going to be so massive. So you might be insignificant now. You might be like Anson Gordon from Austin, Texas, painting, doing artwork. Yeah, whatever. But someday in the future, way far, you're going to be massive.
Yeah.
And then people are going to study the shit out of you. And they're going to try to figure out your brain. Think how much smarter they're going to be. They're going to try to figure out how our brains work. Just like we look at cavemen and Neanderthals, right? It's like we try to figure out, why did they do this? What were they eating? Why did they, but we're doing this off of nothing. Like, it's like we have nothing but what we can find under the earth and, frozen in time. They have digital fucking archives of all of us.
Of the person saying the thing.
Yeah. So that's what's crazy about this. Someday there will be a university here in Austin, Texas. The population right now is around 2 million. It'll probably be around 200 million someday. Imagine. And there will be college classes and professors that are going back and analyzing this. And they're going to be like, Anson and Shawn got really drunk here. Let's analyze this.
I did get drunk.
What were they thinking?
Yeah.
How did their brains work back
Well, God
then?
bless you for putting that together, man. Putting this format together.
It's cool.
It's
I love
cool
it.
as fuck, man. I'm so excited, and I can't thank you enough.
No, thank you, man. I would love to have you on all the time. I'm glad we live in the same town. That makes it easy.
Let's do the Legacy podcast.
Let's do it. Well, I think we just did one for you. This is like, literally, this is part of this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want. But I want this for everybody. I want this for everybody's loved ones.
Yeah.
This is it. I'm not
I
trying
feel
to,
it.
It's like what we have here. This now goes into your archive, your bloodline archive that your great grandkids are going to be able to fucking watch this and be like, dude, my grandpa was the shit, dude. He was an artist. Like, I learned all about him. I know they were drinking Johnny Walker Black Label. like, dude,
They got all fucked up.
Yeah, but it's like they're gonna recognize things in you and they identify in themselves, and they go, "Oh, that's where I get that from," right? Like, that's fucking cool because right now the system we have in place is like we're just figuring it out on the fly, and we're going, I guess I'm just weird, not knowing that. No, you're not weird, dude. This is fucking 10,000 generations of you.
Yeah, man.
Like that's cool. I mean.
You got it. You fucking nailed it. I'm so impressed by you and what you've been doing, and clearly you're doing it for the right reason. I'm just,
Well, life is fucking cool, man. Life is cool if you let it be cool and you just like see it from this different perspective.
Yeah, man.
And if people get, I don't want to get on a high horse here, but like people will stop for a second and just take a break from fucking reality and what they perceive to be reality or what the powers that be tell you is reality. Just take a step back and just be like, fuck this, dude. No, what do I want to get out of this fucking life of mine? I have a finite number of days left. I hit 40. Okay. So that tells me I'm halfway there if I'm lucky. Okay. So how am I going to live the second half of my life? Right? I don't know.
It's a choice.
It's my choice. And it's like, I don't care. I don't care about ridicule anymore. And anyways, I'm going to get off my pedestal.
Hey, listen. Do you? I'm going to do me. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm just I wish I'd have thought of this 20 years ago. That's my big deal. I wish that I hadn't have felt this desire to fit amongst the norm, and societal.
We all do it.
20 years ago, if I'd have had this feeling, it would have been fucking amazing. But I don't look back. It's right now, and I'm just gonna draw. And that's because that's what I like to do.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, I can't wait to see what you draw next,
My man.
Anson. Cheers, brother. Thanks for going to war with me.
My man. Thank you.
Tell everybody where they can find you.
It's pretty easy. Anson Gordon Art on Instagram, ansongordon.com, to my website. I got prints. If you want to buy them, cool. If you don't, if you want to talk shit about them, cool. But I'm just doing like whatever. They're there. Love you. Love you all. Everybody. Humans.
Love you all. I love you, man.
I love you, man. I just met you and I love you.
Thank you. I love you too, man. And
seriously.
I love everybody that stuck it through this for this 3 hour and 36-minute podcast.
Whoa. Was that long?
Yeah.
I was hoping to make it an hour and a half.
This is the longest one I've ever done.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. I've got a mini boner. I got a little chubby. Keep that in. Hey, look, it goes like this.
Well, I love you. I'm going to throw this one up one more time because I at least want a replica of that. I think this is
whatever you need, brother. I'll send you.
Yeah.
That's way down we go.
Yeah.
Way down we go.
I'm this guy right here.
Which one? Of course you are, you fucking cowboy.
That's the short guys get the short horses.
You're the cowboy.
Anyways, Anson, I love you, brother. Best
Love
of
you
luck
too,
in the
brother.
competition. And
2 girls, well, man. I don't feel even worthy to be in a competition with her. She's fucking sick.
you guys are both badass. And the cool thing about that competition is it's not just about the art; it's about the person.
I hope so.
And people are resonating with you, and they should be.
I hope so.
So,
I hope so.
anyways, thanks everybody for sticking with us. We love you.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?